Chapter 81. The night filled the dense forest, and everything around them returned to calm. As if the fierce battle just now didn't exist. The light around them was very weak, and there were 3 wounded people, so the group of 4 walked very slowly. The forest in summer was full of all kinds of mosquitoes. Rope Tree drove them away with his hands while looking at Mikoto and Akira Uchiha with his eyes. At this time, Akira Uchiha put his hand on Mikoto's shoulder and slowly walked forward with the help of Mikoto. Akira Uchiha was a little uncomfortable being stared at by Rope Tree's small eyes. He said impatiently, "What are you looking at? What's wrong with looking at you?" Akira Uchiha calmed down. "I didn't ask you to help me. If I was a normal person, I would choose Mikoto between you and Mikoto." Humph. Rope Tree showed a grimace and then made a strange sound. "Rope Tree, what are you pretending to be cute for? You're obviously a big guy. Damn you." Akira Uchiha resisted the discomfort. He felt a little nauseous. He didn't feel this strong when he just killed someone. Rope Tree didn't answer. Just looked up 45 degrees. Then, he stroked his little brown hair and sighed softly. "No, you don't understand." Rope Tree shook his head. "A genius who killed a Jonin at the age of 9, and a genius who opened Sharingan at the age of 9. I suddenly realized that I don't know when, but I've actually become the team's weakness." Akira Uchiha was stunned. He was about to pat Rope Tree's shoulder to comfort him. But Rope Tree was still depressed. "It's all because of excellence that blinded my eyes and made me arrogant." Orochimaru, who was wearing a ninja suit, smiled and didn't speak, and continued to walk in front. After walking for a while, they finally arrived at Fengche village. However, the current Fengche village had been reduced to ruins. It was as if this place had been razed to the ground by the demolition team and the urban management. Black smoke billowed everywhere, and there were scattered bonfires burning. Akira Uchiha looked around. He never thought that he would return to this place. Such a small mission could actually cause so many waves. However, the final outcome was always good. How should he put it? At the very least, he would be able to destroy an entire village by himself in the future. Orochimaru walked to the door of a house that had not yet been affected by the explosion and stopped. He stood at the door and looked at the destroyed village outside, then fell silent. The entire sky was dyed crimson by the flames of the explosive talisman, which made it look even more enchanting in the dark night. Mikoto helped Akira Uchiha find a clean place to sit down. The Rope Tree formed a seal and pouted. Water escape. Chaotic water wave. Under the wash of the water, the surrounding flames were all extinguished. Rope Tree smiled. "My water escape technique is pretty good, isn't it? Isn't it a bit like a water god?" Akira Uchiha nodded. "It's really not bad. You don't have to be a ninja in the future. You can make a living as a firefighter." Orochimaru was silent for a moment, then said in a hoarse voice, "Your mission is not finished yet." "No, this place has already become like this, and it's not finished yet." The Rope Tree wondered. Orochimaru did not answer the Rope Tree. He sat down casually on the ground. "What do you think a ninja doesn't need the most?" This was a very strange question. A ninja needs too many things. They need ninjutsu, chakra, experience, and all kinds of things. A ninja can give 1,000 answers. But what does a ninja not need? Orochimaru pointed to the Rope Tree and motioned him to answer. The Rope Tree hesitated for a moment, then scratched his head and asked, "Don't need to be too good?" Because people who are too good, no matter where they are like fireflies in the dark, so bright, so outstanding. In a sense, what the Rope Tree said also makes sense. Geniuses are the easiest people to target on the battlefield. But Orochimaru always felt strange. The same 6 years of compulsory education in the ninja school, why can the 5th grade Rope Tree be so good, and the others can only look at the dust? Orochimaru resisted the urge to use an explosive tag to kill Shinji, this pretentious prick. Then he looked at Mikoto. "What about you, Mikoto?" Orochimaru is very interested in this disciple who opened the Sharingan at the age of 9. Opening the Sharingan at this age is not rare in the history of the Uchiha clan, but it can definitely be ranked in the top. Even the Uchiha Fugaku's son, Uchiha Fugaku, didn't open the Sharingan at the age of 10. Mikoto carefully thought about Orochimaru's words, and then slowly said, "Is it feelings? You are partly right. Your scope is too big. A ninja is a person, not a tool to kill. No one cannot let himself not have feelings. With one's own subjective feelings, no one can avoid this. You can be angry, you can be sad. As long as it doesn't affect your judgment, it doesn't matter." Orochimaru said slowly, "You are the only one left. Chen, if you answer incorrectly again, I will unfortunately give you a D-evaluation for this mission." What are the consequences of a D-evaluation? You are likely to lose the opportunity to graduate next year and become a genin. You will need to stay 1 year. After all, this is related to what mentality you will have when you go to the battlefield in the future. It is also related to your ability to survive on the battlefield. Mentality determines fate. This is what you said. Chun thought about it carefully. Since you said that the scope of Mikoto's answer is too large, then let's go. That means it is only a certain kind of emotion. Then, is it pity or pity? Yes, it is pity. Orochimaru nodded. A ninja can be angry, hate, and happy during the mission and during the war, but you can't have pity. This pity goes both ways. You can't have pity for yourself, and you can't have pity for the enemy. Looking at Nobunaga and Mikoto's puzzled expressions, Orochimaru continued, "Just like the enemy you're fighting against, of course you can kill them without hesitation. But if the enemy lying on the ground is an injured enemy, if the enemy's women and children are unarmed, or if the mission asks you to kill civilians, can you do it? If they cry, pull your trousers, and beg you to let them go, can you do it?" Orochimaru asked in a hoarse voice. "The strong are born with pity for the weak. But this is the last thing you need as a ninja. This is the last thing I want to give you. There is not so much time on the battlefield, you can adapt. There is nothing if you die. So, what you need to do now is very simple." Orochimaru stood up. He took out 3 kunai and threw them at the feet of the 3 of them. In the house, there are some bandits and their families who were not killed by the explosion. Now they are tied up in the house. Take the kunai and kill all these people. I will wait for you at the door. Of course, it doesn't matter if you can't do it. After all, it is you who are going to the battlefield, not me. Chapter 82. The originally crimson sky gradually dimmed. As the cool wind blew, Akira Uchiha inhaled the smell of smoke floating in the air and felt a burst of discomfort in his lungs. Not long ago, his chest, which was stabbed by the kunai, was still aching faintly. Akira Uchiha reached out and picked up the kunai in front of him, then stood up. Rope Tree and Mikoto also picked up the kunai. Then the 3 of them pushed the door open and walked in without hesitation. Although it was not the first time they killed people, it was the first time for such unarmed people. As Orochimaru said, this was the path they chose. Even if they had to kneel, they had to finish it. Akira Uchiha walked in quietly and found more than a dozen people tied up in the room. In addition to a few men who were badly mutilated, there were also some women. They were entangled by snakes, and their eyes were filled with pain. Akira Uchiha glanced at the middle-aged man in front of him. He was helpless, desperate, and angry. Perhaps, he used to be a powerful existence in Fengche village. Now, he could only watch the kid in front of him get close to him. When he walked on this road, he was ready to be killed, but he didn't expect to die in the hands of such a kid. He didn't have any ability to resist, and he saw the kunai getting closer and closer to him. He struggled in pain, and then the broken arm on his hand was hurt. He showed an angry expression. It was these children who ruined everything here. Akira Uchiha walked in front of him expressionlessly, and then cut his neck little by little. Blood splattered everywhere. The man made a whimpering sound. In an instant, the whole world became cold, as if the coldness of the world suddenly appeared in his throat. Akira Uchiha glanced at the blood on the kunai and continued to the next person. This was a woman. She struggled and cried, begging Akira Uchiha to let her go. But the kunai still cut her throat. After doing this, Akira Uchiha opened the door and walked out. He left the rest to the rope tree and Mikoto. At this time, Orochimaru was sitting on the ground, looking at the sky. Akira Uchiha also sat opposite him and looked up at the sky. Sitting here, he could see the moon when he raised his head. Further away, he could see the shadows of the forest. If it weren't for the ruins in front of him, the scenery outside would be extremely bright, and the leaves would be even more dazzling. When Akira Uchiha was in Woodleaf, he liked the scenery of Woodleaf very much. But Woodleaf is neither too big nor too small, he's tired of looking at it every day, so he's full of longing for other places in the shinobi world. However, he had only left Woodleaf for a few days, and he already missed it. Only then did he realize that the scenery of the outside world was not beautiful either. The smell of blood on Akira Uchiha's body had already dissipated a little, but now it became even thicker. His entire temperament had changed greatly from before. Orochimaru nodded with satisfaction. Because a Jonin appeared in this mission. Moreover, you killed this Jonin, so I will apply to adjust the level of this mission to A level. Orochimaru rarely spoke so much. How is it, you completed an A-level mission before becoming a genin? This feeling should be very good. Orochimaru licked his lips. Good my ass, I almost died. Akira Uchiha curled his lips. He swore that he would starve to death, die outside, and jump down from here. He would never take another A-level mission. Whoever wants to go can go, he won't go anyway. So, you are the Earth clone, right? Akira Uchiha didn't look at Orochimaru, but he still said such words. Orochimaru nodded. The main body has already chased after the leader. Akira Uchiha showed an expression as expected. When he found that the scarred man and the hotel couple looked very similar, he knew that everything was under Orochimaru's control. Therefore, that hotel was not randomly found by Orochimaru. He already knew the relationship between the scarred man and the hotel owner. This was also the biggest reason why Akira Uchiha dared to use genjutsu at the last moment. He wasn't sure whether Orochimaru was nearby or not. After he understood this, he knew that Orochimaru must be nearby. Of course, he wasn't stupid enough to ask Orochimaru if he failed at the last moment. Orochimaru could save them. If he asked such a question, it meant that Akira Uchiha didn't trust Orochimaru. Once there is a crack in the heart, it can't be repaired no matter what. What's going on with this village? Akira Uchiha wondered. Orochimaru didn't directly answer this question. In fact, the mission to eliminate the bandits here has been issued twice before. So, this place has been eliminated twice by ninjas. But it didn't take long for there to be bandits again? Akira Uchiha said. Yes. When I came here to investigate, I found that the deputy leader often went to Rogue Town. Then I found that the deputy leader looked very similar to the couple. So I understand. This village and Rogue Town are actually one. There are all kinds of merchants passing through the town every day. Then the people in the town collect information and tell the bandits the information and strength of these big fat sheep. These bandits then choose the merchants to rob. The reason why the bandits here haven't been completely eliminated is because of this. As long as Rogue Town is still there, no matter how many times this village is wiped out, it will be rebuilt. Akira Uchiha couldn't help but be speechless. Here again refreshed his understanding of the bottom line. The ninja's world is really dark. Who would have thought that such a town would actually collude with bandits? Akira Uchiha nodded. Then what are you going to do with this town? What do you mean by deal with? Orochimaru sneered. Akira Uchiha was stunned. Didn't the village already make a plan? This is a town that leads to the river country. The traffic is smooth and the trade is prosperous. Once there is a war with the wind country, the importance of this place is self-evident. There is almost no need to do anything here. It can be transformed into a new base. Otherwise, why would the village let you come here? Is it really just to let you train your abilities? Orochimaru sneered. Orochimaru continued in a hoarse voice. Of course, Woodleaf has just signed an alliance agreement with the 3 generations of Kazekage. Don't spread this kind of news. Akira Uchiha was a little speechless. You've already shown off, and you still want me to not spread it. Isn't it better to be less scheming and more sincere? What about the couple? This is your task. Orochimaru said lightly. Then how about sealing their memories and giving them a sum of money to go to the daimyo mansion? Orochimaru glanced at Akira Uchiha and was about to say something. Akira Uchiha immediately said, Sensei, this is not pity. If it's a task, I can kill them without hesitation. Our task is to deal with the bandits in this village. The other party is not in the task, and will not expose anything, an insignificant person. And isn't it better to kill less? Killing is the essence of a ninja. If that's the case, then let me change this ninja world. This is my wish, I want to talk to this ninja world. What if you can't? Then I will directly beat the ninja world. I am a little disappointed in the ninja world. I want to change this ninja world to what I like. This is the privilege of the strong, isn't it? Chapter 83. At this time, the forest was already in a mess. Orochimaru and the ninja opposite him, who looked to be in his 40s, were confronting each other. Orochimaru said in a hoarse voice, A ninja of your level shouldn't be a nobody. How come I've never heard of you? The ninja's hair was messy, and there was a scar under his left eye. His face was cold, and he didn't answer Orochimaru's words. Years of hard work was destroyed, and he was in a bad mood at this time. But fortunately, killing this kid in front of him was enough to make up for the loss. After all, this person was the 3rd Naruto's favorite disciple. He quickly made a hand seal, water release, water turbulent wave. With a bang, the water rushed over. Orochimaru made a hand seal, earth release, earth flow wall. Dense streams of water poured down like crazy. Then it hit the earth wall. A few seconds later, there was a bang on the wall behind Orochimaru. At this time, the wall had a diameter of 1 meter. The next moment, Orochimaru suddenly turned around. He aimed his arm at the cracked wall, waiting for the opponent to break it. Then, everything was quiet. The wind whistled softly in the air. Orochimaru's heart slightly condensed. A moment later, a small wind blade cut in. The wall exploded with a bang, and the stone flew out with a huge force. Orochimaru jumped to the side. Ninja art. Gray fire. Suddenly, a large amount of dust poured in from the ninja's mouth. In an instant, the whole vision was covered, and even breathing was affected. Orochimaru closed his eyes, and the snake's infrared made it easy for him to see the opponent's movements. But the opponent didn't know this. He thought that Orochimaru couldn't see anything around him. Then he immediately rushed over. Go to hell. In the dust, Orochimaru dodged the opponent's fist. The ninja violently swept his leg sideways at Orochimaru. Orochimaru moved sideways, he blocked with his arms, and suddenly both sides took 2 steps back. Then, the dust came from all directions, again blocking the vision, and the wind disturbed the hearing. In just a few moments, Orochimaru launched more than 10 consecutive attacks, but all of them were blocked by him. Suddenly, Orochimaru waved his hand, and the ninja's chest was grabbed by him. The next moment, the ninja's eyes were spinning. With a loud bang, the wall behind them, which had already been broken, almost completely cracked open. Orochimaru dragged his body and slammed it against the wall. Orochimaru's kick was as fast as lightning, and it hit the opponent's lower abdomen. With a puff sound, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and then his body was kicked away by Orochimaru. Orochimaru immediately made a hand seal. A huge earth dragon rushed out. The ninja pressed his hands on the ground. On the ground, dozens of explosive charms were stuck on the earth dragon. Then a huge explosion sounded. The earth dragon was blasted into pieces. When the smoke dissipated, Orochimaru looked again. The ninja had disappeared. Orochimaru stood in place for a while, but he didn't chase. The explosive charms on the ground were obviously placed in advance by the ninja. He didn't know how many such traps there were on the road. He didn't want to be blown up by the explosive talisman for no reason. So he immediately turned back. When he returned to Rogue Town, his Earth clone and Akira Uchiha were already waiting for him. Orochimaru, Sensei, did you catch him? Akira Uchiha asked. Orochimaru's golden eyes looked at Akira Uchiha, then shook his head. He got away. Rope Tree crossed his arms and comforted Orochimaru. It's okay, even a horse stumbles. Even I have times of failure. Don't be discouraged. Orochimaru ignored him and led them to a cellar. This is where the leader hid the loot. Let's go in and count. Walking into the cellar, Akira Uchiha wiped his eyes. Looking at the glittering gold and silver bars and various other valuable porcelain antiques in front of him, Akira Uchiha swallowed hard. He's never seen so much money. You're not dreaming, are you? Then, he slapped Shinji's face hard. Looking at Rope Tree's painful expression, Akira Uchiha nodded. Looks like it's not a dream. Akira Uchiha, why did you hit me? Rope Tree pointed at Akira Uchiha. When I saw these things, I felt too much pressure and couldn't control my hand. I need to calm down. Then Akira Uchiha turned around and hugged Mikoto. That's great, Mikoto. These are our spoils of war from this mission. We're rich now. We're going to enter the upper class. Looks like I need to let you know who's the one with the highest authority in Woodleaf. Orochimaru's hoarse voice came from behind. Orochimaru-sensei, the room is full of stolen goods. Don't you want to take a closer look? Akira Uchiha moved in front of Orochimaru and smiled shyly. It'll be shipped to Woodleaf in 2 days. What a pity. Akira Uchiha showed a toothache. Yes, I know. I'm in charge of transporting these things. Orochimaru said lightly. Teacher, you still don't understand what I mean. Akira Uchiha shook his butt. These things will be handed over to Woodleaf. Woodleaf builds buildings and hospitals, but what does this have to do with us? This is equivalent to a third-generation old man using our spoils of war to bribe Woodleaf's ninjas. Looking at Orochimaru's expressionless face, Akira Uchiha hurriedly said, Hey, you still don't understand what I mean. Look at Woodleaf. They're the richest among the 5 major countries. And we, on the other hand, are still poor. Shouldn't we solve our personal problems before we consider the village? These precious things should be kept by the right people. What do those politicians know? They don't have as good taste as we do. Akira Uchiha said. Orochimaru was still expressionless. Also, teacher, you see, I've already seen it. There are really a lot of good things here. Especially there's a scroll with a forbidden technique on it. Orochimaru's eyes lit up. Akira Uchiha continued, I've already taken it out, no one else will know about it. Look, I'll give it to you personally, how about it? Orochimaru hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Chen, I've been thinking about applying for you to be a jonin recently. But you're just a student of the ninja school. So, I can compensate you in other ways. You should also go and see if there's anything you want to collect. Go. Orochimaru patted Akira Uchiha's shoulder. Akira Uchiha immediately said seriously. Thank you, teacher, for your guidance. Akira Uchiha immediately turned around to look for some precious spoils of war. Orochimaru also began to search for scrolls. At the same time, he also needed to supplement his research funds. He suddenly saw a scroll on the table. Then he picked it up and looked at it. Then his face became serious. For a moment, the surrounding air pressure suddenly became a little low. What's wrong, teacher? Something happened. Chapter 84. As the sun set, a carriage passed through the mountain road surrounded by trees. The one driving the carriage was Orochimaru wearing a kimono. At this time, he changed into a new kimono. Akira, Uchiha and Chunin couldn't help but have a guess. Orochimaru shouldn't be a kimono lover, otherwise, why would he like to wear kimono so much? He analyzed Orochimaru's psychological illness in his mind. Ninjas rarely wear kimono, so the excellent Orochimaru has been single for so long. Is it because the women around him don't wear kimono? So in the end, he slowly became a pervert, simply turned himself into a woman, and then wore it for him to see? Thinking of this, Akira Uchiha suddenly shuddered. The more he thought about it, the more he felt it was reasonable. Just as Akira Uchiha was analyzing, Mikoto next to him was silent as always. Her eyes quietly looked at Akira Uchiha. Sitting at the back of the carriage was the yellow-haired, stupid-looking Rope Tree. Compared to the other three people in the carriage, Rope Tree's appearance was somewhat ordinary. He pulled down the average appearance on the carriage. At this time, he was sticking his butt out, blocking the view of the people in front of him, counting his gold bars alone. There were only a few gold bars in total, and Rope Tree had counted them several times. After he finished counting, he stuffed them into his underwear. After hiding them, he returned to his usual lively self. Finally, we can go back to Woodleaf, Rope Tree said excitedly. Hearing Rope Tree's words, several people's faces raised a smile. Akira Uchiha comfortably rolled over in the carriage. After they rested for a night in Rogue Town, they embarked on the journey back to Woodleaf. Unlike when they came in a hurry, they went back by carriage. After all, the three of them had big and small injuries. As for Rogue Town, Woodleaf will send ninjas to take over, it has nothing to do with them. Everyone has worked hard these days. Orochimaru smiled faintly. He had already left Rogue Town, and his tense face gradually relaxed. Ever since they accepted this mission, the four of them had been on this mission for almost a week. Orochimaru had to pay attention to the safety of the three of them at all times, so his nerves were also in a state of high tension. When I go back this time, I'm going to buy 100 comic books about different types of professional women. The Rope Tree rubbed his hands in excitement. Now that he had money again, he could buy a lot of romance and action comics when he went back this time. In the past few years, the comic books that he had secretly bought and hidden were all sold secondhand by his sister, Tsunade, at a low price. Rope Tree, before you came on this quest, Tsunade-sensei gave you a condition. You haven't forgotten about it, have you? I forgot all about it 800 years ago. Then let me remind you, she said that you have to give 70% of the reward to her. She said that she will help you save it and use it for your old age. I'm only 9 years old, what old age? If I give it to her, it'll be gone in one night. Akira Uchiha helplessly shrugged. After all, he couldn't help, he still had to pay 20% of the reward to Tsunade-sensei. In Tsunade-sensei's words, no matter how small a mosquito is, it's still meat. After all, she already owed a lot of money from gambling. That's why people say gambling kills. Orochimaru suddenly frowned. He felt that someone was calling him. What's wrong, Orochimaru-sensei? Akira Uchiha keenly felt the change in Orochimaru in front of him. It should be Woodleaf's information, Orochimaru said while cutting his thumb, then made a hand seal on the carriage. Summoning technique. Then, a small red snake was summoned. The snake glanced at Orochimaru, then a sticky scroll came out of its mouth. Ugh! Akira Uchiha was a little unable to control his stomach. Recently, he always felt like vomiting. Only now did he understand that sometimes, mysophobia wasn't his own problem, it could also be forced out by the people around him. Orochimaru didn't care about the sticky liquid on the scroll. He took the scroll and wiped it on Rope Tree's backpack, then opened the scroll. Rope Tree. He asked someone to buy it for him from the country of hot water. The postage was very expensive, and it was ruined just like that. Orochimaru silently looked at the latest information from Woodleaf. The letter that Orochimaru found in the cellar had been sent to Woodleaf. In the letter, the leader of Rogue Town was ordered to take away the collected treasures and immediately reinforce the border between the country of fire and the land of rain. A small gold mine was found there. The signature was Salamander Hanzo. In this regard, Akira Uchiha was doubtful. After all, this kind of secret letter, a ninja would destroy it after reading it. How could it be left in the secret room? Secondly, the gold mine was strictly in the territory of the Country of Fire. No matter how arrogant Hanzo was, he didn't really think that he was the god of ninja, who could fight 10 people by himself. The Country of Fire was the most powerful country among the 5 major countries, and now the situation was so bad, if he wasn't careful, a ninja world war would break out. If he went to provoke the Country of Grass, Woodleaf could still restrain himself. But did he really dare to provoke Woodleaf's sensitive nerves? Unless he was crazy. So, is that ninja really from the land of rain? Is the content of this letter true? Akira Uchiha was doubtful. He felt that this was a trap. However, whether it was a trap or not, it wasn't up to Akira Uchiha to decide. He's not the master of Konoha now. Although Sandaime-sama Naruto said every day that he was the successor of Naruto, after all, no ninja came to talk to him about the specific issue of succession. To put it bluntly, he was still a salted fish. A salted fish that couldn't even be considered as cannon fodder. These things were the worries of Woodleaf and other big people, and it had nothing to do with him. Orochimaru put away the letter and didn't speak. Akira Uchiha and the others wouldn't foolishly ask the contents of the letter. The ninja rules were written clearly: don't ask what you shouldn't ask. After all, Orochimaru was the leader of the team, and they were just students, and they weren't qualified to ask about this confidential information. If Orochimaru wanted to say, he would naturally tell them, and if he didn't, then it was very simple. They didn't deserve to know. Akira Uchiha turned over and found a comfortable position to lie down. The carriage kept shaking on the road, and he was a little sleepy. He really liked the feeling of shaking in the carriage. Orochimaru turned his head, and his golden eyes looked at Akira Uchiha. By the way, Chen, is your body really okay? Akira Uchiha's chest injury was still recovering. After all, he was injured, but looking at his appearance, it didn't seem like something was wrong. Akira Uchiha smiled and waved his right hand, indicating that he was completely fine. A man can't say no. This kind of injury is not a problem for me. That's good. Orochimaru nodded with satisfaction. Akira Uchiha was a little confused. What's with this sudden concern? Such a warm conversation shouldn't appear from Orochimaru's mouth. The carriage slowly moved forward, and a crossroad appeared not far away. After turning right, they would be able to reach Woodleaf. Seeing that they were about to cross the crossroad, Orochimaru made a slight turn to the left. After a while, Akira Uchiha couldn't help but ask, "Teacher, did you go the wrong way? We're getting further and further away from Woodleaf, right?" "That's right. We just received a new mission. Woodleaf sent us to investigate a small gold mine. But I'm injured." "I just asked if your injury was serious. I was thinking that if you really can't do it, I'll give up on this mission. But you said you're completely fine." "It hurts. My chest hurts, Orochimaru-sensei." "It's fine. Tsunade's team is also nearby. We're doing a joint mission with them this time. She can help you heal. I remember that she has a very powerful slug thrusting technique. Do you want to give it a try? It feels good." Chapter 85. At the same time, in the depths of the ninja world, an old man was leaning on a huge wooden chair. His hair was all white, all scattered behind him, wearing a black robe, and his eyes were closed. This area was shrouded in darkness. In the darkness, the ground seemed to be slowly twisting, and finally, 2 pure white creatures with brown hair came out. The old man opened his eyes and saw a circle of purple ripples. People can't help but be immersed in it. In a huge space, there is a huge human figure. The human figure has 9 eyes, the color and the body are like dead wood, and there are 10 column-shaped protrusions behind it. There are various white creatures hanging on this figure. It's just that each one of them looked very similar to the first Hokage. "Madara-sama, the letter has been delivered," the spiral face said to the old man. "Well, The old man nodded. Orochimaru sent the letter to Woodleaf. Sandaime Naruto has sent Tsunade and Orochimaru to investigate. Another white creature said. That's within my expectations. Although Sarutobi's mouth is full of Hashirama's kindness, in fact, he is very hypocritical. Together with the insidious rat next to him, they will not give up this gold mine. The old man said lightly. Madara-sama, why did you send a message to Woodleaf? Isn't it better to let the Land of Rain dig it secretly? The spiral face asked. Yes, didn't you say that you hate Woodleaf? I'm just looking for a little fun for myself. Just like a little dessert after a meal. The old man replied casually. Madara-sama, I have a question to ask you. The white creature suddenly became serious. What's the problem? Madara looked at the other party and thought it was a big problem. What is a dessert? You used to be a human, but now you are like me, you don't need to eat or drink. Then you should know what a dessert is. Eating it will make you want to poop? The old man ignored the clones that were jumping around. He sighed softly. Since the last Shinobi World War, the 5 major countries have been too quiet, like a pool of stagnant water. After Hashirama died, I was bored to death. Nothing can make me excited. I just hope that the so-called 5 great countries won't disappoint me this time. The old man curled his lips. Wouldn't that start a war? The spiral-faced man asked. You're not human. You're just a clone that I created. Is this how you talk to your master? The old man snorted. You're the one who said that you hate war. The spiral face felt wronged. I don't like war, but I didn't start this war. At most, I just added some foreplay to this war. This gold mine is like a lubricant. I just want everyone involved to not be so stiff. That way, everyone can have fun. To me, this is just a game. A game to please me, that's all. Looking at the white clone in front of him, the old man was a little more talkative. Forget it, what's the point of telling you this? You don't understand these things. You're not Hashirama. You're just his clone. If Hashirama was here, he would understand what I'm talking about. Only when I'm with him can I be excited. The old man said with regret. Alas, in fact, the seeds of this war have been planted long ago. When Hashirama established the one village one country system, this seed was planted. To protect peace, this kind of egoistic will cause war. In order to protect love, war will happen. This is the cause and effect, and it can't be separated. No one can avoid it. Hashirama, you can't see reality. As for me and you, the pair of eyes that were born from our union helped you see this reality clearly. I see that under the new order you established, things are still not going well. The old man touched his eyes. The longer I live, the more I feel that there is only pain and loneliness in reality. Without you, I'm really lonely. The old man sighed. Lord, are you close to the first Naruto? Another white creature asked. The spiral-faced man wanted to cover his mouth, but it was too late. I can't say. How to say it, it should be very special. I feel like I knew him in my previous life. At that time, my younger brother had just died in a battle. I was between disappointment and despair, and I was infinitely sad for a small setback. The old man fell into his memories. Then I met Hashirama. He warmed me. Hashirama told me that even if we were hurt, even if we were disappointed, we should still stick to our way of ninja. But I think he's hypocritical. Ninja can't bring us spiritual comfort. I was confused, and I'm still confused now. So then... The old man kept talking. Here we go again. As long as this old man enters this state, Hashirama can't stop. The spiral-faced man said helplessly. After half an hour, the old man was finally a little tired. He paused. I really didn't expect that I would be so old one day. If it weren't for this ghetto statue. The old man laughed again, but there was a hint of desolation in his laughter. How's Nagato? The old man asked. In the darkness, he seemed to be slowly closing his eyes. Everything is normal. They have settled down in the land of rain. The child's parents' memories of Whirlpool Village have been sealed. The old man nodded. What about the Uchiha clan? I asked you to keep an eye on the Uchiha clan and look for some interesting children. How is it? You're an old man, why are you so interested in children? Can't we do it? The old man snorted discontentedly. Well, I recently found a very interesting child. The spiral-faced man saw that the old man was angry and quickly replied, Go ahead. That child is the son of Kagami Uchiha. Uchiha Kagami? The old man stood up, holding his sickle of judgment, which was also known as the god of death. Let me think. Kagami, I remember that child. He's really good. I had once thought about letting him be my successor. Unfortunately, he became that person's disciple. The old man showed a disgusted expression. Is that person Tobirama Senju, the second Naruto? The white figure asked. Yes, a very annoying guy. But he died a long time ago. And he died miserably. The old man laughed, and the laughter got louder and louder, but it seemed that because he was too old, his laughter was a little rushed, and he immediately coughed violently. Madara-sama, are you okay? I'm fine. By the way, who has Kagami's Mangekyo? Chapter 86. As far as the scenery was concerned, except for the first day when the three of them were a little excited, they began to feel bored after that. The three people in the carriage were wounded, and it was undoubtedly the first time for them to ride a carriage. After all, ninjas generally believe in their legs more. Unlike Rope Tree, who was full of energy, Mikoto began to feel sleepy as soon as she got on the carriage. The little girl was very cute. After dozing off a few times, she finally couldn't resist the sleepiness and fell asleep on Akira Uchiha's shoulder. The carriage was shaking and it was really sleepy. According to the age division, Mikoto was undoubtedly still in elementary school in his previous life. After all, no matter how precocious the world of Naruto is, Mikoto is only 9 years old. In his previous life, Akira Uchiha should have been sentenced to at least 3 years in prison, and at most death. Akira Uchiha helped Mikoto, who was leaning next to him, tidy up her messy hair. Then he opened the window of the carriage. The carriage wasn't fast. Akira Uchiha looked and found that they were walking on a path in the forest. The land of fire had plenty of rain, so the land on both sides was fertile. There was no end to the forest, and a breeze blew in through the window. Akira Uchiha looked at the map. There were still 3 days before they entered the first town for supplies and rest. Akira Uchiha suddenly remembered that when he killed the Jonin, the system told him that the mission was completed. It seems that he hasn't favored the system for a long time. It's not that he doesn't want to think about it, but the speed of earning points is too slow. The points needed to level up are too much. In the past few years, with the improvement of Akira Uchiha's strength, it's getting more and more difficult to get points in the ninja school. Now, Watergate and Rope Tree are completely worthless. They have completely transformed into losers. It's not as good as the points he gets from training. However, he just completed the first mission and should give a lot of points. Thinking of this, Akira Uchiha opened his holographic projection. He saw that the system had become like this. Host Akira Uchiha Land of Fire Age. 9. His comprehensive strength index made him invincible among the Chunin. Chakra level 9, 3400200000. Physical skills level 10, 500300000. Shuriken level 7, 600120000. Hand seals level 7, 134120000. Ninjutsu level 9, 500200000. Illusion level 10, 611300000. Wind attribute level 6, 6004000. Fire attribute level 8, 780160000. Lightning attribute level 8, 580160000. Water attribute level 3, 02000. Earth attribute level 3, 02000. Ceiling level 3, 02000, Yang attribute level 3, 02000, In attribute level 3, 02000, Sharingan, locked. Remaining ninja points, 26,000. Sure enough, he had a lot more points than before. Level 8 to 10 were Chunin's levels. Currently, Akira Uchiha already had 6 attributes at the level of Chunin. 2 of them were even at level 10. The attributes on the panel were not at all what a 9-year-old child should have, because it was too comprehensive. In fact, all the points that Akira Uchiha gained over the years were almost all added to his chakra, taijutsu, and ninjutsu. Chakra was the foundation of a ninja's survival. In terms of chakra, although the Uchiha clan was much better than the average ninja, it was not much better. This body was still developing and had not reached the golden stage of rapid development. A normal 9-year-old Uchiha child's chakra could not reach level 9. After all, the Uchiha clan was not known for their chakra. Uchiha Chen's current chakra volume is completely based on his current age of 9 years old, and he has accumulated a lot of ninja points. The same was true for taijutsu. A 9-year-old body was still in the developing stage. He could not do extreme exercise, otherwise his body would not be able to stand it. Taijutsu had always been Akira Uchiha's trump card. He had always paid attention to adding taijutsu with ninja points. And adding points to the ninjutsu attribute could improve Akira Uchiha's ability to understand and learn ninjutsu. So these 3 attributes had always been the focus of Akira Uchiha. This was also the fastest way to improve his strength that Akira Uchiha had found in the past few years. Akira Uchiha did not waste his points on shuriken throwing and hand seals. Leveling up depended on his own training. At that time, Akira Uchiha was young and ignorant. He thought that he was a dog rich and needed to add points to every attribute. Later, he found out that he was a complete poor man. He only hated himself for not knowing the value of points when he was young and crying alone when he was old. He regretted it. As for the wind, fire, and thunder attributes, Akira Uchiha did not need to add points to them. Under the 9th level of ninjutsu understanding, he had completed the change of fire and thunder attributes, so these 2 attributes could be upgraded to 8th level. And what he needed to do now was to complete the change of the nature of the wind attribute. Now Akira Uchiha wanted to continue to become stronger. In addition to waiting for his body to develop, he also needed to accumulate points. But ninja points were not so easy to accumulate. He was not Kuin. He started with a system and leveled up by Kuin. Akira Uchiha looked at his Yang and In attributes. Akira Uchiha had not spent a lot of points on these 2 attributes. This was because he found that the effect of adding a few levels was not obvious and could not immediately improve his strength, so he gave up. But in other aspects, he needed more points, so the importance of the Yin and Yang attributes also highlighted. The Yin and Yang attributes could affect his other attributes. And the later it became more obvious. So, if he wanted to become stronger, he had to add these 2 points. So, Akira Uchiha added all his ninja points to the Yang and Yin attributes. Congratulations to the host, the Yang attribute has increased to level 5. Congratulations to the host, the Yang attribute has increased to level 6. Level 6 Yang attribute, the host's recovery ability, vitality, and chakra will be greatly improved. Congratulations to the host, the Yin attribute has increased to level 5. Congratulations to the host, the Yin attribute has increased to level 6. Level 6 Yin attribute, the host's illusion and mental power will be greatly improved. The system information changed. Host's remaining ninja points, 2,000 points. Although his body did not change much now, Akira Uchiha knew that his body should be slowly transformed. As for illusion, Akira Uchiha still did not add any points. This was not because he did not value it. Illusion was the highest attribute like taijutsu. This was not the reason why Akira Uchiha added points. Akira Uchiha realized that this body was really talented in illusion. He did not need to add any points at all, he only needed to train a little and he would be greatly improved. Of course, Akira Uchiha would not admit this. He would only say that this was the result of his hard work. Just like how Shina always denied that she had a lot of chakra, Rope Tree denied that his family had a lot of background in Woodleaf. What was that saying again? Did not like peeping Jiraiya, hated gambling Tsunade Heim, hated the forbidden Orochimaru. Ordinary families had Rope Tree, Little Watergate who had decent talent, Uchiha who was average in illusion, Woodleaf, Mikoto who was the ugliest, and finally Shina who had very little chakra. Well, that was probably what it meant. Chapter 87. Looking at his 5-digit savings, all of a sudden, he was left with only 2,000, which made him feel a little distressed. The system was never full. Sooner or later he had to pay the public ration, which made Akira Uchiha feel like he was being squeezed dry every day. Before, he was weak and easy to earn points, plus he exercised his body, so Akira Uchiha often had a surplus of food. If there was nothing else, he could also add some other attributes. So the question was, how could he refuse his girlfriend, no, the system's request to pay the public ration? If it wasn't for the system, he couldn't see or touch it. Otherwise, Akira Uchiha would really want to pull out the system and beat it up to relieve the hatred in his heart, to let it know why the flowers were so red. It took them more than 3 days to walk out of the forest that had surrounded them all this time. Along the road, they entered a small town that Orochimaru said was relatively rich. Could you please explain, this kind of dilapidated house, you can see the end of it at a glance, can you really call it a small town? If you say it's a village, I'll believe it. Approaching the town, the atmosphere here was more tense than Woodleaf. After all, this place was very close to the border. There were all kinds of ninjas in the town who went to perform missions. Because some areas have been in war. So under the influence of the war, there were many refugees on the streets, begging for food and money. They were in rags, and their expressions were sad, some of them were dragging their families, the children's dry faces were covered with dust, looking very pitiful. But Orochimaru looked straight ahead at the surrounding environment, driving the carriage forward, turning a blind eye to all of this. Soon, the carriage stopped in front of a run-down inn. It seems that this hotel is where they will be staying tonight. This small hotel won't be related to this mission, right? Akira Uchiha was a little careful at this time. After all, Orochimaru generally chose a place with deep meaning. This needs to be silently speculated by a small salted fish like him. Orochimaru got off the carriage. Then Akira Uchiha and Mikoto followed. He said to Akira Uchiha and Mikoto, "We are very close to the border. We will stay here tonight, and set off again tomorrow morning." After saying that, Orochimaru went straight in. "By the way, where's Rope Tree?" Mikoto asked. "He's still asleep in the carriage, I'll call him. You wait for me here." Mikoto nodded. "Hey, Rope Tree, wake up. We're here." Akira Uchiha shook the Rope Tree. Awakened by the shaking, Rope Tree suddenly got up, and then his eyes showed vigilance. His left hand touched his ninja bag, and his right hand reached somewhere in his pants. "Yes, it's still here." Rope Tree nodded. "We've arrived at a small town, we'll rest here tonight." "Oh." Rope Tree immediately relaxed. He took out his right hand, and flicked away the mucus at the corner of his eye. After getting off the carriage, Mikoto was already waiting for them. So they quickly walked in. Although the outside of the hotel was shabby, the inside was very clean. However, Orochimaru was the only one standing in front of the counter. "Teacher, is there no boss?" Akira Uchiha asked. "Yes. He just went to change his clothes." "What? What time is it? Why did he go to change clothes when there are customers?" Akira Uchiha was a little confused. After all, Orochimaru would not be patient with a normal person. But Orochimaru did not seem to be impatient at all, he just stood there. After a while, no one came out. Just when Akira Uchiha was getting impatient, a woman in her 30s hurried out of the room. Although the woman's appearance was average, she had a temperament. When the woman walked over, the feeling was like a spring breeze blowing past Lake Lugu, and the autumn rain soaking Juseigu. Thinking about it but not thinking about it, it would appear in his mind, thinking about it but not thinking about it, it would resound in his heart. especially when the kimono she was wearing was the perfect contrast. Akira Uchiha and the other two had a strange look, looking at Orochimaru, who was also wearing a kimono. So that's why, looking at the somewhat absent-minded Orochimaru, Akira Uchiha felt that he could finish his apprenticeship. He thought that he had already guessed the deeper meaning of Orochimaru's visit this time. Orochimaru was very sensitive. He immediately felt the gazes of the three next to him. He explained in a hoarse voice, "I used to go on missions with Tsunade and Jiraiya, and often stayed here. So I'm very familiar with this place." "Oh, familiar, people." So gas, Akira Uchiha stretched out his voice, showing an understanding expression. "For ninjas, please go upstairs, the room you usually stay in has been cleaned." Although the other party was talking about the four of them, her eyes were always looking at Orochimaru. The other party had been leading the way in front, and stopped at the door of the last room. Opening the room, it was very simple and very clean. "Then, I'll go first. If there's anything, please tell me." The woman bowed to Orochimaru and left. "Well, I'm going to resupply, you can go out for a walk, it's safe here," Orochimaru said lightly, then turned and left the room. Although the four of them didn't use much supplies. However, ninjas have a relatively large appetite. Although military food pills can be used to satisfy hunger, this kind of thing is undoubtedly a strategic resource. They were still injured, and it was not suitable for them to eat these things. Therefore, there was nothing wrong with what Orochimaru said. As for what Orochimaru sensei really did, they didn't know. However, they couldn't doubt their sensei's character. Their sensei didn't look like the kind of person who would trick children to see goldfish. Akira Uchiha opened the window, the setting sun passed through the window, and it was already dark outside. The town was full of smoke from cooking. Mikoto took out a few green tea leaves that Akira Uchiha liked from her scroll. She was going to use the hot water in the room to start making tea. "Let's go out for a walk." Staying in the carriage for a few days, although Mikoto also accompanied him to chat, trying not to let him feel bored. But after a few days, Akira Uchiha always felt that his body began to have lice. Mikoto never refused Akira Uchiha's proposal. The tea bag that was prepared to be opened was also put away. Mikoto stood up and followed Akira Uchiha out of the room. Seeing this, the big light bulb rope tree also went out. Chapter 88. Since Orochimaru said that this place was safe and they could go out for a stroll, then this place must be very safe. Although all the countries were now stationing troops at the border, they were all restraining themselves for the time being. The interior of the Fire country hadn't been affected at all. Perhaps the taxes on the civilians had also increased a lot. After all, war was a war of attrition. Those who benefited from it would always be those at the top of the food chain. Akira Uchiha led Mikoto out of the slightly run-down inn. He led Mikoto on the town's only main road. Behind him was a rope tree with a small tail. According to the plot of the Xuanhua novels, Uchiha-chan should be bringing his servants out to show off and harm the people in the village. Mikoto was, of course, a woman he snatched, while Nobuyuki was his lackey and hired thug. But no protagonist jumped out to be slapped in the face by Akira Uchiha. There was nothing in the vicinity except for some sallow and emaciated poor people. What Akira Uchiha didn't expect was that at the end of the town, there was a shrine. But it was completely abandoned. Many people can't even eat. How can they care about these shrines? Rope Tree shook his head. But I heard from my grandmother that in a place called the Land of Demons, shrines are very popular there. When she was young, she traveled there. She said that the sealing technique there was very interesting. And it's a mysterious country with witches. Rope Tree showed a yearning expression. Akira Uchiha nodded. "When we have time, we can go there and see if the witches are beautiful. If they are, we can take back Wood Leaf." Akira Uchiha and Rope Tree showed a vulgar smile. Mikoto next to them also smiled, but her smile became colder. Akira Uchiha immediately shut his mouth. When Akira Uchiha and the others entered the town, it was already evening. He didn't walk for long outside, and it was already evening. Well, There were no evening lights. In this town, most of the residents used dim oil lamps. In this town where electricity wasn't widely available, what else could you ask for? After walking around for a while, the few of them went back. Because the inn didn't provide food, Mikoto borrowed the inn's kitchen to make dinner. The ingredients were bought by Akira Uchiha from the town's residents with silver. Because it was made by himself, it was quite generous. Mikoto's cooking skills were very good. After all, she started learning to cook at a very young age. In this aspect, Mikoto was probably equivalent to several Shina Kushinas. Of course, Chen wasn't qualified to talk about Kushina like that. After all, the food he made tasted worse than Shina Kushina's. Akira Uchiha grew up eating Mikoto's cooking. In Rope Tree's words, Akira Uchiha was Mikoto's sugar baby. Mikoto was eating her dinner, and from time to time, she would pick up some meat from her portion and put it in Uchiha's bowl. She was like a gentle little wife. It would be better if there was no Rope Tree next to her. Look at Orochimaru, he knew what was going on. He said he was going to resupply, and then Akira Uchiha didn't see him again. He didn't know if he went to resupply, or to deliver milk. After eating, Akira Uchiha drank a mouthful of Mikoto's tea. It felt like they were back in the village. Usually, when school was over, they were like this. Just as Akira Uchiha was about to say something, there was a noise from the room upstairs. "Ah, Snake! Help me!" A sharp voice suddenly sounded from the second floor. The three of them were eating on the first floor, and the voice came from their room on the second floor. It couldn't be Orochimaru in the room, with a shy expression, and then raised his hand and said there was a snake. This scene was too beautiful. So it should be a thief. Obviously, Rope Tree also thought of this. His face changed, and he immediately rushed over. "Hey, isn't your gold bar hidden somewhere in your pants? Why are you in such a hurry? Could it be that Rope Tree secretly hid something that Akira Uchiha didn't know? Let me see what's going on." After saying this, Akira Uchiha stood up and ran to the second floor. When he opened the door, Rope Tree was already standing there. Mikoto also followed Akira Uchiha's footsteps. Akira Uchiha found that there was a little ghost in the room. At this time, he was holding Rope Tree's backpack in the country of hot water. Wow, he really knows what's good for him. The little ghost was completely entangled by Big White, who was summoned by Akira Uchiha. This was just Akira Uchiha's little defense method, who knew that it would really come in handy. The little ghost looked to be 6 or 7 years old. His face was yellow and his body was thin as if he hadn't eaten for a long time. The little ghost seemed to be very afraid of snakes. But even so, his hand was still tightly holding onto Rope Tree's backpack. But Big White tightened his grip, and the child suddenly couldn't hold on. "Big White, let him go." Akira Uchiha was afraid that Big White would strangle him to death. The little ghost, who was released, didn't give up resisting. He glared fiercely at Akira Uchiha, then picked up his backpack and ran towards the window. It seemed that he had jumped over the window. How could Rope Tree let him escape? He reached out to grab him. Then, the little ghost turned his head and bit Rope Tree's hand. Oh ho, he could even bite people. But how could he be a match for Rope Tree? Rope Tree tripped him in an instant. Rope Tree picked up his backpack and hurriedly went out to check. Akira Uchiha's eyes lit up. He gave Big White a look, and Big White understood and quietly followed him out. "TCH. You want to escape my eyes? You're still too young, Rope Tree." Uchiha Chen grabbed the kid's ankle, lifted him up, and shook him. He shook out a wallet from his arms. It was Akira Uchiha's wallet. After shaking out the wallet, Akira Uchiha didn't stop, but continued to shake out a few more clothes. "So how many things did you steal?" There were a lot of thieves like this outside. But it was the first time Akira Uchiha saw someone stealing from a ninja. He really wasn't afraid of death. After shaking out the items, Akira Uchiha casually threw the little ghost on the carpet. "It hurts." The little ghost covered his head. Keep pretending, keep pretending." What happened? At this time, Orochimaru, who had disappeared for a long time, slowly appeared. Just a little thief. Akira Uchiha replied. The shop owner who heard the news also rushed over. She was still wearing the kimono. Looking at them, she said to Orochimaru, "Forgive her this time, ninja-sama." "Your relative?" Orochimaru asked with interest. "No. This child is just a war orphan. She escaped from somewhere else. I saw that the child was pitiful, so I occasionally gave her something to eat." "Oh, you also do this kind of thing. This isn't like you," Orochimaru said with a hoarse voice. "It's not easy for an orphan to survive in the war, not to mention a girl." The woman explained. "A girl?" Akira Uchiha rubbed his eyes. He looked at the short-haired little ghost. Her face was black with dust, and she looked malnourished. She was wearing shabby boy's clothes, and her nose was running. "Are you sure this creature is a soft and cute girl?" Chapter 89. The girl in front of him was emitting a foul smell, and her clothes were tattered. Her hands were behind her back, and she looked nervous. But her eyes didn't seem to be very good, and she kept squinting at the woman who saved her. Her originally blonde hair was gray because she hadn't washed it for a long time. This girl couldn't be Watergate's long-lost sister, right? If so, then this is a joke. He would probably be killed by Watergate. Akira Uchiha carefully looked at her for a long time, trying to find similarities between her and Watergate. Fortunately, other than the hair, there were no similarities. However, Akira Uchiha couldn't help but sigh. The courage to do this under the nose of a ninja was indeed praiseworthy. But there was also a great risk. If she met a ninja with a bad temper, even if she killed him, no one would say anything. No one would care about the life of a poor person. But looking at her yellow and thin appearance, Akira Uchiha didn't find it difficult to understand. She was too hungry. Even because of malnutrition, the kid's real age might be a little older than what she looked like. In this era, commoners had a hard life. Being bullied by the nobles and landlords, as well as the occasional ninja who passed by from time to time, might give you a hard time. For a ninja, as long as they didn't deliberately kill a large number of innocent commoners, they wouldn't be responsible for, accidentally, killing a few commoners. But then again, they had no intention of killing this little brat in the first place. And the woman even begged for mercy. Orochimaru's golden eyes looked at the woman. "You're not going to—" "That's right." The woman nodded. "You were born there, so you should know how cruel it is. Didn't you always want to escape from there? You actually want to send her in?" Orochimaru hissed and laughed. "It's better than the current situation. If she wants to live, she can only go in there." The woman shook her head. Akira Uchiha and the others were confused. They didn't know what these two were talking about. "Damn, what here and there? I know there's a story between you two. Stop pretending." It was as if no one knew how to speak in code. Akira Uchiha pursed his lips. He began to have some guesses about this woman's identity. "Scram," Orochimaru said to the kid. "Wait." Mikoto suddenly called out to the girl. She put some of her clothes and some money in the girl's hand. The girl looked at Mikoto and the people in front of her, but she didn't take it. "Take it. You stole it with your own ability, so why don't you want it?" Akira Uchiha said, even though his own wallet was already in his pocket. That seems to make sense." The little ghost thought for a while, picked up something, and jumped out of the window. To them, this was just a small matter. In any case, he would not be able to meet this brat again in the future. After resting for a whole night, Orochimaru's team once again began their mission. According to Akira Uchiha's observation, with their current speed, it would take about 2 days to reach the mission location. However, Akira Uchiha was not completely idle. He began to ask Orochimaru about the nature of the wind attribute chakra. Previously, he was able to easily complete the lightning and fire attributes. But when he encountered the wind attribute, he ran into trouble. It seems that his ninjutsu attribute was not enough. But he was now a poor person, he didn't have any ninja points to level up. But fortunately, there was an all-round Orochimaru beside him. It was a lot more convenient to have a teacher. He was like an old grandpa. "Where are you at?" Orochimaru asked. Since leaving the hotel, he was a little depressed. His whole body was emitting a do not disturb aura. "I just felt a little bit. There's still a long way to go before the first step." Akira Uchiha pointed to the leaf in his hand that had been cut open. "There's no need to use the leaf now. The leaf is more difficult. The conductivity of chakra is too low," Orochimaru said in a deep voice. Then from his pocket, he took out a piece of crumpled white paper. A beam of chakra spread out from Orochimaru's hand and turned into a sharp wind attribute chakra the moment it left his body. In an instant, the white paper was cut in half. Orochimaru's hand shook, and the white paper was torn into pieces. "Good, very strong." Akira Uchiha nodded. "You can try it first. The conductivity of chakra in the paper is much stronger than the leaf." "Well, but where can I find this kind of paper? Isn't there a manga in Rope Tree's bag? You can take it out and use it. Anyway, in a few days, Tsunade will find it and sell it. It's better to use it now," Orochimaru said. Akira Uchiha nodded and glanced at Rope Tree, who was still sleeping. Anyway, Rope Tree has already read it 5 or 6 times, so he already knew the plot by heart. This kind of small matter shouldn't need to specifically inform Rope Tree. Then, Chen gently took the manga from Kuroto's hand. "Whoa whoa whoa. This kind of plot is also the kind that Akira Uchiha likes. It's a pity to tear it up like this." He suddenly felt a little reluctant to do it. But in front of Mikoto's cold smile, he could only tear it up. Akira Uchiha followed Orochimaru's method and tried it on the manga. Sure enough, the cut was much bigger than the leaf. The next 2 days were as calm as the surface of the water. Akira Uchiha and Mikoto chatted when they were in the mood. When he was bored, Akira Uchiha began to practice his chakra or the wind attribute chakra. In such a slightly dull journey, 2 days quickly slipped through the fingers. They finally arrived at the mission location. It's unexpectedly big. Akira Uchiha originally thought that this would be a dilapidated town. Outside the town, while Orochimaru dismounted to go through the formalities to enter the town, Akira Uchiha opened the curtain of the carriage and looked at the high walls and the ninjas standing guard above. The structure here is very similar to Woodleaf Village. It seems that this is the bridgehead of Woodleaf's war. The Land of Fire is very big. Once the war breaks out, the allocation of various materials is very slow. So a large number of materials will be concentrated here in advance. When the war breaks out, they will be sent to various battlefields, which will save a lot of time. Chapter 90. Akira Uchiha and the other 2 looked into the town from the gate. As far as Akira Uchiha could see, the roads in the town were all paved with square bricks. The houses on both sides were also built with extremely sturdy earth. As far as the eyes could see, most of them were ninjas. There were also food transported from various places in the Fire Country. With so many ninjas and strict defensive measures, there was no other place in the Fire Country that could compare with this place. If you really want to talk about it, only Konoha can be compared to it. But the war atmosphere in Woodleaf couldn't be compared with this place. Thinking that he could rest in such a place tonight, finally not having to spend the night in a narrow carriage or in the wilderness, Akira Uchiha felt that his injuries were a little better. Even his movements were a lot lighter. After finishing the procedures to enter the town, Orochimaru came back. "Okay, let's get off." Orochimaru clapped his hands. "Why are we going in on foot?" Akira Uchiha wondered. But he saw that the other carriages went in. There was no reason for them to walk in. Was it because they weren't ninjas that they were despised? "No, we're not going in," Orochimaru lightly replied. "What? So they just came to the gate and left?" He was so excited. "Then where are we going to sleep tonight?" Rope Tree, who was also very disappointed, asked. "Tonight we're going to sleep with Tsunade's team," Orochimaru replied. Akira Uchiha remembered that their team seemed to be girls. "Oh, then what are we waiting for? Let's go quickly." Tsunade, Sensei and the others are waiting for us. Akira Uchiha immediately carried his backpack. Then Orochimaru led the excited Akira Uchiha and the others toward the forest. After half a day of trekking, they finally arrived at the place where they were going to sleep tonight. However, what came into view was a dilapidated tent. The original military green color had been covered by a layer of dust. The color of the tent had also turned gray. Akira Uchiha and the other two, who were carrying large and small bags of luggage, were somewhat sluggish. Okay, we're here. Orochimaru nodded with satisfaction. Farewell, my town. Farewell, my big soft bed. Orochimaru took the lead and walked in. Akira Uchiha and the others followed closely behind. When Akira Uchiha entered the tent, he discovered that it was very dark inside. The facilities inside were also very simple. There was only a table and a stool. Tsunade was sleeping on the table. Lord Tsunade, please wake up. The slug beside Tsunade woke up Tsunade. Shinakushina-chan, I really didn't sleep. Tsunade, who was woken up by Slug, raised his head and reached for the pen on his desk. Tsunade raised her head and saw Orochimaru and the others. Thus, she stopped pretending. She wiped the saliva from the corner of her mouth and then yawned loudly. Why are you guys only here now? Tsunade immediately blamed Orochimaru and the others. Orochimaru did not mind Tsunade's tone and only said with a hoarse voice, Tsunade, looks like you've been living a leisurely life recently. TSK. It's all your fault for sending that lousy information. I'm about to die from exhaustion. I have to work so hard every day to investigate that gold mine. Yo, Shan and Mikoto, long time no see. Tsunade greeted. Teacher Tsunade, long time no see. Akira Uchiha greeted. Master Tsunade, long time no see. Mikoto greeted as well. Hey, sister. Why are you ignoring me for no reason? Is my presence that weak? Rope Tree said angrily. Oh. Isn't this my stupid little brother? Why, are you part of this team too? Tsunade smiled. All right, Tsunade. Shan is injured. Heal him. Orochimaru reminded Tsunade. Oh, he's injured? Tsunade raised her head and glanced at Akira Uchiha. Mikoto and Rope Tree's injuries were lighter and they recovered quickly. However, the kunai wound on Chen's chest hasn't healed yet. TSK, you're embarrassing me as your teacher. You can even get injured in a bandit killing mission. Did you know? My subordinate killed a Chunin this time. Tsunade curled her lips. Let me correct you, Tsunade. Shan is now my outstanding subordinate and disciple. Also, he was injured because he killed a Chunin. Orochimaru calmly refuted Tsunade. However, her words were filled with a sense of superiority. What are you so proud of? It's all because I taught him well. Tsunade was a little angry. She was still unhappy with the old man who transferred Akira Uchiha away from her team. No, you still need me to heal you. If you were in the same team as me, you wouldn't have gotten injured. Tsunade said as she stood up and stretched her body. Tsunade was wearing a Chunin vest and black ninja attire. Her blonde hair was tied behind her back. The ninja headband was placed casually on the table. Compared to the future Tsunade, other than her temperament, there was not much difference in other aspects. The current Tsunade had the youthful aura of a young girl. Although the future Tsunade had the same appearance as now, she gave people a mature temperament. That's right, it was the feeling of maturity. Tsunade's chest was no longer as flat as it was 3 years ago. In terms of volume, it was much bigger than before. Although it was not as exaggerated as the future. Even a girl like Tsunade had developed. The world was really unpredictable. Jiraiya, who used to laugh at Tsunade, probably would not have thought of this. Tsunade had a purple diamond on her forehead. Akira Uchiha remembered that she did not have this on her forehead 3 years ago. It seemed that Tsunade had also learned the Ein seal. Okay, kid, take off your clothes. Tsunade walked in front of Akira Uchiha. In the face of Tsunade's words, which could easily cause misunderstandings, Akira Uchiha did not have any other thoughts. He obediently took off his coat. It is said that tolerance is great, but Tsunade was the opposite. Sometimes she was very forthright, sometimes she was a very stingy woman. On Akira Uchiha's list of people that he must not provoke, Tsunade's danger level was definitely in the top 5. So, if you said something stupid to tease Tsunade, then think about Jiraiya's end. Then you'll know what you have to do. A green chakra rose from Tsunade's hand. Akira Uchiha felt the wound on his left chest itching. He had to admit that medical ninjutsu was really magical. Just when Tsunade was treating, Orochimaru asked, "By the way, Tsunade, did your team find the gold mine?" Tsunade sighed. "I suspect that there is no gold mine here." Chapter 91. Orochimaru narrowed her eyes and looked at Tsunade. "You said there is no gold mine here?" Tsunade's hands were still on Akira Uchiha's chest. She said without raising her head, "At least I didn't find any trace of the so-called small gold mine." Akira Uchiha painfully covered his heart. Akira Uchiha swore that even if he starved to death, he would not take another A-level mission. Orochimaru confidently told him that Tsunade had found the gold mine. Their mission was to bring back the gold mines that had been mined, and they could easily complete this A-rank mission. "Who gave you the courage to say such a thing?" "Sure enough, don't believe a punctuation mark." Tsunade continued to analyze the situation here. "You sent the letter, you know the content. It said that the gold mine here is almost mined, and let the ninja of Roguetown come to escort the gold mine. According to the content of the letter, there is a Jonin, several Chunin, and a mining team here." Tsunade continued. "Such an obvious target, knowing the location, it should be easy to find some traces. They have to eat and live. But until now, my team hasn't found any traces here. We can only say that we have been deceived. There is no gold mine here." For a moment, the tent was quiet. Tsunade's analysis was very reasonable. The content of the letter was difficult to distinguish. From Tsunade's meaning, her opinion was the same as Akira Uchiha's. The letter was fake. Tsunade said for a long time that she wanted to give up the mission and return to Woodleaf. But whether it was true or not was decided by Woodleaf's higher-ups. Naruto believed that Akira Uchiha's team must come to carry out the mission. After all, a small gold mine is worth a lot. Woodleaf meant to let Tsunade's team, who was performing a mission nearby, come here to investigate and confirm the location of the small gold mine. Then cooperate with Orochimaru's team to stop the ninjas of Land of Rain and bring the excavated gold mine back to Woodleaf. Although this place is big, Tsunade's team has children of Inuzuka and Hyuga clans. The ninjas of these two clans are the best in investigation. It is impossible for them not to find a trace for so long. "By the way, where is that ninja?" Tsunade asked. "He ran away," Orochimaru replied faintly. Listening to Orochimaru's tone, Tsunade took a deep breath and recovered her mood. "Trash. Go home and raise pigs. You let such an important person go. Can't be more careful. What else can you do?" Tsunade has already started to scold. "Ah, it hurts." Tsunade slapped Akira Uchiha's wound. "You didn't learn anything else, but Orochimaru's sissy, you learned it very well. I just used my strength and you said it hurts." Tsunade spread the fire to Akira Uchiha's body. For a time, the whole tent was only filled with the sound of Tsunade's scolding. Except for Mikoto, the other three were scolded by Tsunade. They all knew that Tsunade couldn't be provoked at this time. God knows how much anger she has accumulated. Tsunade, tired of scolding, sat back on her stool. Akira Uchiha was massaging Tsunade's back, and Rope Tree was pouring tea for Tsunade. "This is troublesome. Maybe the ninja who escaped used the psychic beast to send a message in advance, and let the people here hide." Tsunade analyzed. Orochimaru nodded. "That's possible." Then he continued, "You didn't have enough people before. You had to keep an eye on some important roads, so you couldn't do a comprehensive search. So, this time we have to do a comprehensive search. Do you know how tired I am here? I can't eat or sleep well. Every day I'm busy until midnight looking for the gold mine, and Shinakushina and the others are still searching outside. Tsunade started to complain again. However, before she could finish her sentence, a burst of chattering laughter came from outside. Sister Tsunade, we bought the shaved ice. This kind of cute voice with a strange ending tone could only be made by Shinakushina. Tsunade's complaining voice stopped abruptly. Orochimaru and the other three looked at Tsunade, who was still angry just a moment ago. Why did Shinakushina, who said she was going to do a mission, go by shaved ice? This once again proved that the Jonin's punctuation should not be trusted. She patted her head and smiled awkwardly. She had forgotten about this. Sister Tsunade, the mixed rice you wanted is sold out. Shinakushina pushed open the curtain and walked in. Behind Shinakushina was a girl with oil paint on her face. Then came a girl with a pair of white eyes. The three girls walked in with smiles on their faces. Each of them carried bags of food in their hands. Shinakushina even had a piece of shaved ice in her mouth. Shinakushina walked in and found that there were other people in the room. Shinakushina, who was a little jumpy, saw Akira Uchiha who was massaging Tsunade's back. "Chen, you're here." She skipped over to Akira Uchiha's side. "And Mikoto. And Uncle Orochimaru." Rope Tree smiled and waited for Shinakushina to call out his name. However, Shinakushina acted as if she did not see him. "Shinakushina, seriously? How can you go out to buy things during a mission?" Tsunade began to lecture Shinakushina with a stern face. "Didn't you say that you could summon Slut and have them guard the place?" Ahahaha. Tsunade was a little embarrassed. It had to be said that Tsunade was really bold. Naruto Sandaime gave Shinakushina to her and asked her to protect Shinakushina. Tsunade was very casual. She let Shinakushina and the other two ninja school students go to a nearby town to buy things. Shinakushina and the others had Slut with them. If something happened, Tsunade could immediately rush over. Moreover, the Hyuga clan and the Inuzuka clan were all experts in reconnaissance. It was easy for them to avoid danger. However, Tsunade was really too bold. Of course, she might not know that Shinakushina was going to become a Manchuriki. But even if she knew, she probably wouldn't care. After all, Tsunade could casually send out a Kyuubi Manchuriki like Naruto to perform missions. Tsunade, who had made a mistake, squatted alone in the corner while Orochimaru assumed the role of commander. "My name is Orochimaru. I'm the commander of this joint mission." Orochimaru stood at the front. Orochimaru's hoarse voice came. "The goal of this mission is very simple. First, guard all the roads leading to the Land of Rain. Second, thoroughly search this area and find the small gold mine and the Land of Rain team. Then let the mission begin." Chapter 92. Although it was a joint operation between two squads, Orochimaru didn't choose to carry out a strategic deployment in a group. He directly chose a more dangerous plan. He divided the two squads of 8 people into 3 squads. Tsunade was the first squad. She took 2 sisters from the Hyuga clan and the Inuzuka clan to carry out a carpet search in this area. In Orochimaru's words, even if they turn this place upside down, they must find the small gold mine. If they can't find it, he will report Tsunade's laziness during the mission to Sandaime Naruto. Although Tsunade complained about this, she had to lead the team honestly. Akira Uchiha took Mikoto, Shinakushina, and Rope Tree as the 3rd squad. They were stationed on the main road to the Land of Rain. Of course, they were relatively safe. After all, they were only active in the outermost area. And Orochimaru was stationed as the 2nd squad alone between Tsunade and Akira Uchiha. The danger of this plan rose sharply. You know, the other party has a Jonin and several Chunin. And Tsunade's team, except for her, the others are all students who haven't graduated. They can't even be considered as genin. How can they be the opponents of those big Chunin? Not to mention Akira Uchiha's team. They are all students of the ninja school. It's a real god with 3 pits. But the benefits are also obvious. Separating several people in the layout, the efficiency and the strictness of the investigation are greatly improved. This plan is also very similar to Orochimaru's personality. Like a poisonous snake hidden in the depths of the jungle, dangerous, but can go deeper. In terms of completing the mission, Orochimaru's approach is undoubtedly correct. He doesn't care about casualties. Of course, it was fine as long as the people he cared about didn't die. After Orochimaru finished briefing Tsunade's team, he turned around and spoke to Akira Uchiha. He took out a detailed border map that he had prepared beforehand. He pointed to the red mark on the map and said, "There are 6 transportation routes nearby that can quickly return to the Land of Rain. The number is quite complicated. And most of the transportation routes don't cross each other. Your team is responsible for monitoring this area." Orochimaru pointed at the map. "Chen, you are already very experienced. You must not let go of any clues. If you feel that something is wrong, you can immediately tell Slug to ask for backup. I will set up a second base nearby. Although the strength of the members of your team is not good enough, they are still very strong. However, they are stationed at the outermost, which is also the safest place." Akira Uchiha nodded. He understood Orochimaru's intentions. Orochimaru was leading the team alone. He also had to take on 2 jobs. He would set up a second base not far away from Tsunade's and Akira Uchiha's teams. With high mobility, he would support Tsunade's and Akira Uchiha's teams. Once something happens, he would immediately rush over. With Orochimaru's speed, it would only take a short while for him to cover the entire border. The seemingly simple arrangement would not only allow him to thoroughly investigate the surrounding situation, but also completely seal off the path back to the Land of Rain. Akira Uchiha took the map and left with his team members. The fastest in the team were Akira Uchiha and Mikoto, followed by Rope Tree. After all, the 3 of them have received special training in speed from Orochimaru for some time. Mikoto's mastery of the lightning element wasn't shallow. Lightning Release's activation of cells made her speed even faster than Rope Tree. The slowest was undoubtedly Shinakushina. Although Akira Uchiha had taught Shinakushina a lot of chakra's usage and control in recent years. But her speed was still a level lower than Rope Tree's. It was obvious that Akira Uchiha had tried his best to take care of Shinakushina's speed. Although Tsunade was not a speed-type ninja, he was still a jonin. "Can't you be more careful?" Of course, it may also be because Shinakushina's bags were like luggage for a spring outing. But fortunately, Shinakushina's physical strength was much better than the 4 of them, so Shinakushina could barely keep up. Carrying so many things and barely keeping up with them, Shinakushina was actually a talent. Akira Uchiha walked while explaining the task to the 3 of them. The main purpose of this time is to monitor the assigned location. According to Orochimaru, sensei, the location we are monitoring is relatively safer than Tsunade's team. But we can't take it lightly. In the following time, we will live together for a while. As for when to withdraw, we need to wait for Orochimaru sensei's notice. What about the exchange of information? This was the question that Mikoto and the other 2 were more concerned about. In terms of information exchange, I will get in touch with Orochimaru sensei through Tsunade sensei's slug every day. At that time, Orochimaru sensei or Tsunade sensei will communicate with us at a fixed time. What we need to do is to monitor. If there is urgent information during the investigation, you can directly send a signal flare. Then I will inform Orochimaru sensei. We're almost there. Akira Uchiha glanced at the map in his hand. After carefully comparing it, he said to the 3 behind him, "It's in front of us." More than 2 hours were enough for Akira Uchiha and the others to reach the border area. This was the border between the Land of Rain and the Land of Fire. It was a unique forest area, and it did look a little magnificent inside. But they didn't have time to enjoy the scenery. Akira Uchiha stopped in a forest. In order to facilitate concealment and investigation, our tent was set up in this forest. Akira Uchiha said to Shina Kushina and the others. Mikoto has the Sharingan, and Mikoto and I have better detection abilities. Let's explore the surrounding situation. Rope Tree, go find a suitable place to set up the tent. That's all we need. As for the water source, Mikoto and I will try our best to find it. After all, the next period of time will be long, and the supplies we brought are not particularly sufficient. Okay. Rope Tree nodded. At present, he didn't have any detection ninjutsu or means. Shina Kushina also didn't awaken any perception ability like Kagura's mind's eye. This distribution is undoubtedly more reasonable. We will be back in 2 hours. By the way, this signal flare is for you. If we don't come back in 2 hours, Rope Tree, throw this signal flare into the air. What about me, Shina Kushina asked. As for Shina Kushina, you go and pick up some firewood. Also, help Rope Tree set up the tent. If you have any questions, you can ask Rope Tree. Akira Uchiha looked at Shina Kushina and said. Then, I will leave the logistics to you. Akira Uchiha waved at them and left with Mikoto. What's next, Shin? Akira Uchiha, who was moving in the forest, didn't check the surrounding vegetation, nor did he look for possible water sources. He was running around in the forest as if he was lost, and no one knew what he was looking for. Chapter 93. Akira Uchiha, who was still on the ground, stood up from the ground. In the face of Mikoto's question, he didn't answer directly, but pointed to the ground. Mikoto, look at the ground carefully, do you find anything? Mikoto nodded seriously, and then the Sharingan appeared in her eyes and began to explore the ground. Although the Sharingan is not as good as the Byakugan in scouting, the vision is much better than ordinary eyes. But Mikoto, you used the Sharingan to do such a small thing. Indra's coffin can't be closed. There should be some paths here before. However, they have been covered by weeds and leaves. Mikoto looked for a while. Indeed. It should be a path that has been abandoned for a long time. Akira Uchiha looked at Mikoto. But this path is not marked on the map. Akira Uchiha sighed. So the enemy ninja may pass through this abandoned path. Mikoto said after Akira Uchiha's words. Yes. Our current task is to find all the paths that don't exist on the map. Akira Uchiha bit his finger and made a hand seal. Summoning technique. Then a large number of snakes came out from the summoning array in Akira Uchiha's hand. Although this kind of ordinary python has no lethality, it has a large number of them and is particularly good at hiding. As animals, they can blend into the forest much faster than Akatsuki and Uchiha Chen. In addition, they belong to the group of contractual summoning beasts. To some extent, they are connected in thought, and of course they are also mobile. Once they find something unusual, they can inform Akira Uchiha at the first time. This is also the reason why Akira Uchiha's team has no ninja in the scouting field. These snakes were more than enough. However, with such a large number of snakes, they couldn't carry out missions that were too difficult. Their intelligence is very low. It was already very difficult for them to find a path in the forest that was not covered. However, it was already very convenient. Watergate's toads didn't have this ability. Toads didn't have the ability to communicate over a large area. Therefore, it was said that there were gains and losses. While having a tongue that could be long or short, tolerant and flexible, it was necessary to sacrifice something else. Watergate did not know, but Jiraiya certainly did not envy Orochimaru. Aren't we going to monitor other places? Mikoto asked in confusion. There are many trees in the Fire Nation. These trees that have been growing for decades or even centuries are the most natural barrier. However, it is also the most dangerous maze. Akira Uchiha touched a huge tree. If it was in his previous life, such a tree would definitely be a world record. With just a few trees, Akira Uchiha's house in the Second Ring Road was already ridiculous, but in a slightly more remote place, he should be able to buy a decent house. Of course, it was more likely to be passively donated to the country. Akira Uchiha, who collected his thoughts, explained, "If you wander around here without anyone to guide you, getting lost and starving to death or being trapped for a few days and nights is completely normal. No one dares to guarantee that they will be able to walk out of the forest without following a specific route. Therefore, if the Land of Rain's transport team wants to smoothly take the gold mine out of the Fire Nation's forest, they must take a fixed route." Akira Uchiha analyzed Mikoto's problem. "What we need to do now is to find one or more possible routes. Otherwise, how can we monitor such a large area with only a few people?" Akira Uchiha said with a smile. Akira Uchiha's words were very reasonable. After Mikoto raised her own question, she did not say anything else. After the snakes left, Akira Uchiha clapped his hands. "Well, while the snakes are looking for a path, let's look for a water source again. In the forest near the Land of Rain, it should be easy to find a water source." Akira Uchiha did not continue to speak, but looked for a direction and walked down. "Are there traces of animal activity here?" Akira Uchiha's few words had aroused Mikoto's curiosity. Akira Uchiha did not speak. He just smelled the smell in the air. There was a bit of bloody smell in this direction. But this was different from the smell of blood that people emitted. The bloody smell in this direction belonged to herbivores. Animals would live near a water source because water was a necessity for them to survive. Akira Uchiha was now walking in a direction with bloody smell, and it was very likely that he would be able to touch the water source. Sure enough, after walking for nearly 20 minutes, a flowing stream appeared in front of Akira Uchiha and Mikoto. Mikoto showed a surprised expression. Mikoto took out the sealing scroll and removed the seal, and suddenly a few empty buckets fell out. "If it's full, it should be able to last for a long time." Akira Uchiha nodded and said, "If it's full, it should be able to take a bath once or twice." Mikoto also nodded and said. There was a natural gap between the attention of men and women. The water was quickly filled, and Mikoto refilled the buckets with water and put them back into the sealing scroll. Rope Tree also sent a message through a reserved snake. He and Shinakushina had already prepared the tent and some other things. While they were at it, they also asked if Uchiha-chen needed any help. Rope Tree and the others chose to set up camp in the forest on the other side. They put the tent in the depths of the forest. Although it was also very humid, it was really well hidden. Akira Uchiha and Mikoto went back the way they came. "You're back." Shinakushina greeted Akira Uchiha and Mikoto when they came back. "That's right." Mikoto waved the scroll in her hand. "There's a lot of water in here, we can take a bath." Shinakushina showed an excited smile. "Alright, where's Rope Tree? Why don't I see him?" Akira Uchiha was puzzled. "He said he wanted to catch some prey for dinner tonight," Shinakushina said. Akira Uchiha nodded. After that period of training, Rope Tree was already very good at hunting. Big White slithered down Akira Uchiha's pants to Akira Uchiha's neck. She reported the situation in a low voice. Akira Uchiha stood up. "The snakes that were released have confirmed the most likely route. I'll go confirm the situation later and set up a simple trap. Do you want to go, Shinakushina?" Akira Uchiha looked at Shinakushina. This was very likely to be Shinakushina's last mission. Akira Uchiha wanted to take her out more often. Shinakushina nodded excitedly. "Then, Mikoto, it's too dangerous to leave the tent unguarded. You stay here and watch. If Rope Tree comes back, make some food. Alright, don't let Rope Tree do anything if you don't want to have diarrhea at night." After some simple packing, Akira Uchiha led Shinakushina on the path to confirm the forest route. She was very happy to be able to go on a mission with Akira Uchiha. "Chen, is our position very important?" Akira Uchiha glanced at Shinakushina. Then, he seriously considered the allocation of the other teams. He felt that he couldn't go against his conscience and gnawed his head. They were assigned to the outermost area. They were the least important. However, he still said, "That's right. We're the last trump card. It's like playing cards. We're the trump card. No one else can pass us." Akira Uchiha used a small analogy. But Sister Tsunade told me that a trump card like the trump card won't have any impact if it's played at the end. You have to play it at the beginning. If the opponent plays a pair of 3, you blow it up. Blow it up until the dealer starts to doubt life. Sure enough, the fat sheep's first move was extraordinary. Chapter 94. According to the information sent back by the snakes, on the left side of the main road, there is a suspected abandoned path. There are very obvious traces of a carriage there. Apart from that, the snakes didn't find anything else. Of course, the main reason is that the intelligence of the snakes as scouts is too low. The intelligence of hundreds of snakes added together can't make up the intelligence of a standard rope tree. So, at this time, you can't ask for more. It's not easy to send such detailed information to Akira Uchiha. Between the trees, Akira Uchiha and Shinakushina, who were constantly jumping, spinning, and shuttling, quickly approached their destination. They carefully explored the weeds for a while and confirmed such a road. There are 6 roads on the map, plus the 2 roads just found. Now there are 8 roads. It's a bit difficult for 4 people to watch 8 roads. But they have to persist in the difficult situation. They have to know that the organization is more difficult than you. Tsunade, with 2 newbies, searched such a big forest. And Orochimaru, 1 person, has to work 2 jobs. The leaders above didn't complain. How can they, the grassroots, dare to complain? So they can only tighten their belts. After Akira Uchiha determined the road, he began to set up traps. There are only 4 of them. It's impossible to watch these roads all the time. The so-called simple trap was generally a thin line drawn on the surface of the road. If people accidentally step on it, it will trigger the trap. As for what would be triggered, whether it was a kunai or an explosive talisman, that would depend on each person's preference. Although this kind of trap is simple, it can also kill ninjas. It's not like some ninjutsu that looks very powerful, but can never hit or kill people. During this period of time, we will be mainly monitoring this route and the other 7 routes. If it's your turn to monitor, if there is something wrong, remember to quickly inform me. Or you and Mikoto can form a team, Akira Uchiha said after thinking for a while. Although Tsunade could safely hand over Shinakushina to Akira Uchiha, he couldn't let go of himself like that. If something happened to Kushina, wouldn't he be the one to take the blame in the end? They were all people with powerful backgrounds. He didn't want to inherit the title of Wood Leaf Walk King. Then can I be in the same team as you? Shinakushina asked, blushing. Her red hair was tied behind her back, and there was a butterfly-shaped hairpin on her forehead. She was wearing a black ninja outfit, which made her look very cute. Akira Uchiha patted Shinakushina's head. There are too many paths. Rope Tree and I have to be in a group. If Shen and Rope Tree can do it, then Mikoto and I can do it as well. It will be safer for you and Mikoto to be together. A man who cannot protect a woman is an incompetent man. Safety is not something a man should pursue. Akira Uchiha revealed a big smile. Shinakushina's face became redder and redder, like a tomato. She felt dizzy, as though there was nothing to be afraid of. By the time the 2 of them returned, Rope Tree had already returned from his hunt. Not bad, he had caught a fast-swimming frog. Mikoto and Shinakushina went to prepare dinner. Tonight, they were eating a fast-swimming frog. It was said to be tender and chewy. Of course, the above paragraph was taken from the Pokemon Cooking Guide, China chapter. Akira Uchiha picked up the tea that Mikoto had brewed and took a sip. The tea was still very hot and it emitted a very fragrant smell. Rope Tree revealed a proud smile. What do you think? The prey I caught is not bad, right? Thank me for not letting you guys eat rations tonight. Akira Uchiha laughed. Then I should thank your girlfriend. I should thank her for not appearing for 9 years, allowing you to focus on ninjutsu and become so outstanding. I hope she won't appear for the next few decades. After dinner, the few of them made do in the tent. Time passed quickly and peacefully. Within 3 days, Orochimaru came to meet with Akira Uchiha. To put it bluntly, it was just an exchange of information. Akira Uchiha told Orochimaru about the new route and the time of the surveillance. And Orochimaru told Akira Uchiha that neither he nor Tsunade found any trace. So even Orochimaru began to suspect that all this was just a scam. But what was the purpose of the other party? Orochimaru decided that if they didn't find anything in the last 3 days, they would declare the mission a failure. They could return to Woodleaf in 3 days. In this boring atmosphere, it was easy to feel dizzy. They were still students of the ninja school. Most of the students should have returned to school by now. Only the few of them were still in this desolate primeval forest, trying to survive in the wilderness. Thinking of Watergate's confused expression when he returned to school and found that they were not there, Akira Uchiha couldn't help but laugh. Today was the last day. Akira Uchiha, Mikoto, Shinakushina, and Rope Tree squatted together under a big tree, playing with crickets. Tomorrow, this mission will be over. We can finally return to Woodleaf. Rope Tree said excitedly. After his cricket knocked over Akira Uchiha's cricket, he was very happy. That letter must be fake. Land of Rain shouldn't have the guts to come. Rope Tree at this time turned into a primary school student Conan, analyzing the current situation. If Land of Rain ninjas came and were discovered, then it would be considered an invasion. They wouldn't dare to do that. Akira Uchiha laughed. Rope Tree, according to statistics, more than 95% of the people who died in a fight were the ones who attacked first. Do you know why? Why? Because the people who didn't die will say that the dead ones attacked first. Akira Uchiha found a particularly big cricket and rejoined the battle. Similarly, if we are all dead, no one will know that Land of Rain attacked first. So your hypothesis is not valid. After a few fights, even Shinakushina, who liked to play this game, felt bored. While they were waiting to return to Woodleaf tomorrow, they didn't know that danger was approaching step by step. Chapter 95. At dusk, the sun was slanting like a dull old man. The 4 shadows on the tree were elongated. The dusk of July still had a trace of dryness. The wind blew through the mountains, and the orange dusk was very peaceful. Stepping on a branch, as the leaves swayed, the sun seemed to shake a little. A team of ninjas in yellow ninja clothes kept jumping between the trees. There were 4 people in total, 3 men and 1 woman. The leader was a ninja with black-rimmed glasses. He wore a turban on his head and had a mole under his left eye. The remaining 3 were all kids in their teens. At a glance, it could be seen that these people were ninjas, but none of them wore a forehead protector. Sakata Jounin was the leader of this team. Their team had been stationed at the border with the army for a week. The rumor of war had been spreading around for a long time. It's just that the village's higher-ups had been letting this rumor go. The Land of Rain and the Land of Grass were in a stalemate. Now the war only needed a fuse. Most of the ninjas in the village were now very excited. They had survived in this barren soil for too long. They desperately needed fertile land. A few days ago, their team suddenly received an A-level mission. In the mission, Sakamoto was ordered to take his team from the land of Kawano into the Land of Fire. They were to find a group of ninjas from the Land of Rain in the Land of Fire. It sounded very complicated, especially in such a tense environment. If they were not careful, it could lead to a world war. So, their team changed into clothes without the logo of Sakura Shinobu Village and crossed the Land of Kawano into the Land of Fire. After several days of running, they were all exhausted. The leftmost, black-haired teenager couldn't help but ask. Sakamoto-sensei, the intelligence said that the other side has 2 jonins. Are we enough? He looked around. After all, this team except for Sakamoto-sensei was a jonin, the rest were genin, and one of them was a scout ninja. Sakamoto at the front laughed. It's okay. This mission, we are not the only team. There is another team that set off before us. Therefore, after finding those ninjas, they just need to send a signal. There is no one around here, so you don't have to worry about being discovered by the ninjas of the Land of Fire. Furthermore, Sakamoto-sensei pushed his black-rimmed glasses and said in a confident tone, "Kimura Genin, you have to remember one thing. 2 jonins, I alone can easily deal with them, no matter who they are." "Sensei Sakamoto, why are you so confident?" Kimura continued to ask, but he could no longer hide the admiration in his heart. "If you choose the path of a ninja, the path under your feet is very narrow. Perhaps you will feel uneasy." Then, his confidence began to waver. At this time, if you don't even have confidence in yourself, then you won't be far from death. Furthermore, Sakamoto's eyes flashed. "I'm Sakamoto." At this time, Kimura had already turned into a super fanboy. Sakamoto glanced at the student on his right and realized that there was something wrong with him. So he asked, "Watanabe, what's wrong?" "It's nothing, Sakamoto-sensei. It's just that the environment here is really humid. I feel like I'm getting wet," Watanabe complained. "I've only been here for a few days, and I'm not feeling well. It's obviously sunny now, but our village is the driest. I hate water," Watanabe continued. "Well, that's nothing. If you go to the land of rain, it rains every day," Kimura replied. "So, the weather in our village is the best. Not only is it dry, but we don't need to take a bath. I hate water." Watanabe thought for a moment and said seriously. For a time, several people nodded in agreement. The feeling of not taking a bath is really good. "By the way, Sakamoto-sensei, have you been to Woodleaf?" Watanabe asked. Sakamoto, who was leading the way, pushed his black-rimmed glasses and was about to answer. His little fanboy Kimura said, "Of course I've been there. In the 5 major countries, is there any place that Sakamoto-sensei hasn't been to?" "How is that possible?" "How is it impossible? Even if it's the Naruto building, Sakamoto-sensei can go there if he wants to." Watanabe turned into a super fanboy. "Ahem, that's enough," Sakamoto-sensei said. "After all, this was a bit too much. You 2 guys. We're now on a mission in the Land of Fire. This information is the information that the village worked hard to get. We must get this gold mine. The daimyo has been trying to embezzle our finances. Acquiring this gold mine will greatly alleviate our financial pressure. So, you have to take it seriously." Suddenly, the girl who had been silent at the back raised her hand. "What's wrong, Masae? Did you find something?" Sakamoto-sensei asked. "In front. Chakra. Ninja." The girl's words were very short. The girl's style of speaking was like this, but the 3 of them understood. Sakamoto-sensei began to raise his hand. The 3 of them spread out and surrounded the only sensor ninja in the team. "It seems that we found the land of rain ninja first. I didn't expect this mission to be so simple." Sakamoto-sensei smiled. "Prepare for battle," Sakamoto-sensei said. At the same time, Akira Uchiha was standing next to the tent. "Mikoto, what's the situation?" Akira Uchiha, who had just returned from several surveillance routes, came to the place where they were stationed after recording the information. "Nothing, everything is quiet. There's no movement of the traps or signs of contact, even the snakes didn't move." "Then it's time to get ready to leave." Akira Uchiha clapped his hands. "We just need to wait for Orochimaru-sensei's notice, then we can go back." Shina-Kushina and Mikoto began to tidy up the surrounding tents. "Since there's nothing here, I'll take a look ahead." Akira Uchiha prepared to walk along the road. "Okay, be careful." Rope Tree nodded. "The most important thing for a ninja is to be vigilant." They didn't say anything. Suddenly, Akira Uchiha's big white came out and buzzed in Akira Uchiha's ear. Akira Uchiha's face suddenly became ugly. "What's the matter?" Mikoto asked. Big White said that there's chakra's fluctuation nearby. Akira Uchiha said. "Is it the land of rain ninja?" Rope Tree asked. "No, it's from the direction of the land of rivers." "What?" Mikoto and Shina were surprised. Their mission this time was to be a small team transporting gold mines from the country of rain. Their investigation range was also a small distance between the land of fire and the land of rain. If the land of rain ninja appeared, they wouldn't be surprised. But after waiting for so long, they didn't see the land of rain ninja, but they did see the ninja from the land of rivers. The land of rivers was sandwiched between the land of fire and the land of sand. If the ninja appeared from the land of rivers, then the identity of these ninjas was self-evident. Chapter 96. From Big White's perception, one of the four had a lot of chakra. The other three had very little. From this, it could be determined that the other party was also a standard configuration, a Jonin and 3 Genin. Of course, no matter who the other party was, crossing the border and coming here was now an enemy. This place was so remote, but a team of ninjas came here to carry out a mission. No matter how you looked at it, it was too much of a coincidence. Therefore, to a large extent, the other party was also here for the gold mine. As for how this information was leaked, there were too many reasons. Land of Rain, the ninja who escaped, and even Wood Leaf could be the reason for the information leak. However, this was not something Akira Uchiha cared about. They had already given up on this mission, but the sudden arrival of the ninjas had already disrupted their deployment. What they needed to do was to survive. Chen, have you notified Orochimaru, sensei? Rope Tree stood beside Akira Uchiha and asked. I have already notified Orochimaru, sensei and Tsunade, sensei. Akira Uchiha nodded. What did they say? Orochimaru, sensei hasn't responded yet, but Tsunade, sensei is rushing over. Then what do we do now? Leave and then rush to meet up with Tsunade, sensei? Mikoto asked. Akira Uchiha shook his head. No. There's no need. The other party is now quickly approaching us. Akira Uchiha explained. They also have a perceptive ninja in their team. We have been discovered. From the amount of chakra, the other party should be a Jonin and 3 Genin, one of which is a perceptive ninja. So, purely from the configuration, we have an overall advantage. Akira Uchiha nodded. Huh? Shina showed a confused expression. We have an overall advantage? Where did that come from? The other party is a Jonin and a Genin. No matter how you look at it, we have 4 students on our side. Akira Uchiha continued his analysis. The other party's speed is very fast. They are very close to us. If we run now, we won't be able to outrun the other party's Jonin. Besides, there are traps that we've set up here. We just need to make good use of this place, lure the other party into the trap, delay them, and wait for Tsunade, sensei to arrive. The other 3 had no objections. But to stall the other party, there must be someone who can stall the other party's Jonin. Alright, let's go greet the guests first. Swish. Swish. The group of 4 immediately disappeared from the tent. Manase, who was running at high speed, suddenly stopped. Sakamoto, who was at the front, immediately signaled for everyone to stop. What's wrong? Sakamoto asked. In front, the enemy is coming. The girl named Manase quickly said. Attention, the target has appeared. Sakamoto said softly, and the other 2 nodded. He took out a signal flare. Although he said that he was going to fight 2 Jonins, but for the safety of his cute subordinates, he had to send a signal flare to the other team to help. There was nothing wrong with this reason. Just as he was about to fire the signal flare, 4 ninjas suddenly appeared in front of him. It's just that these ninjas were only about 10 years old. Sakamoto signaled Manase with his eyes. Manase shook her head. Only them. Sakamoto nodded and put back the signal flare he had taken out. He laughed and said, Am I being too cautious? It's my turn to make a fortune, Sakamoto. If this is the case, I don't even need to make a move. Sakamoto carefully looked at the ninjas in front of him. They didn't show any signs of using transformation jutsu, and they didn't hide their chakra aura. They were undoubtedly genin. Genin facing a jonin like this, he didn't know whether to say it was stupid or courageous. Akira Uchiha's group of 4 stood on the tree and looked at the ninjas in front of them. Who are you? Akira Uchiha wanted to stall for time. This lowly one is Sakamoto, what's the matter? Akira Uchiha smiled. Sakura Shinobu Village is really big, sending Jonin-level ninjas. Now the 5 major ninja countries are in a period of extreme tension. Sakura Shinobu Village sent you elite ninjas to the Land of Fire. Don't tell me you want to start a war. Akira Uchiha continued. The 3 brats were shocked. Only Sakamoto laughed and said, Brat, what are you talking about? We are not Sakura Shinobu. I hate Sakura Shinobu the most. Yes, I also hate Sakura Shinobu the most. Not to mention that they are rude, they don't like to take baths. Don't you think so? Akira Uchiha nodded. Kimura was a little angry and wanted to rush over, but Watanabe pulled him back. Rope Tree's body began to tense, ready to fight at any time. Do you want to deal with these salted fish now? Rope Tree asked. Sakamoto was stunned when he heard this sentence. Salted fish, you really dare to say that? Although this battle was unavoidable, the brown-haired brat's words made him very unhappy. For some reason, Sakamoto suddenly had the urge to blow him up with an explosive charm. So, in the battle later, he prioritized to deal with this kid. Rope Tree noticed the gaze that swept over and only felt a chill in his crotch. Hey, you are not Land of Rain ninjas, right? Sakamoto suddenly asked. How do you know? Akira Uchiha asked. It's very simple. I have long heard that Wood Leaf's genin are very powerful and can't be provoked. I didn't believe it before, but now I understand that it's true. Sakamoto laughed. But since Wood Leaf's people are here, it seems that the information has been leaked. Have you found the gold mine? Where is your team leader? Uchiha Chen just chuckled softly. We're only here to kill your people. Nothing else. Well, just catch a few of you. The dead are more reliable than the living. Sakamoto pushed his glasses and stepped forward. Just as Sakamoto moved, Pa! A crisp sound rang. Sakamoto suddenly felt a murderous aura in the forest. This biting cold murderous aura made his pores open, and his body couldn't help but tremble. Sakamoto's hair on the back of his head stood up in an instant, and he suddenly turned back. The wind blew through the mountains, and at this time, the dusk was quiet. In the air, the leaves swayed, and the sun seemed to shake with it. In the forest, a pitch-black kunai suddenly rushed out, breaking through the wind. The kunai immediately shot through Kimura's head. Blood and body flew up. The black-haired boy on the opposite side had appeared in front of Sakamoto without him knowing. Sakamoto's first reaction was actually to retreat, but his seemingly hurried footsteps couldn't avoid the boys strolling forward. When Sakamoto swung his kunai at the first time, his raised kunai was also blocked by the boy. Sakamoto's whole body was thrown in the air. Chapter 97. Sakamoto, who was flying in the air, hit a big tree. Cold blood spilled on Sakamoto's face. The surroundings became quiet. It was as if he was the only one in the world. The surroundings became deathly silent. The corpses of his 3 subordinates were lying in front of him. His heart was also in pain. Illusion. Sakamoto immediately disrupted his chakra flow. Everything in front of him disappeared, and only a few seconds passed. The scene returned to a few seconds ago. Even the others didn't realize that he was in an illusion. Sakamoto carefully recalled that he did hear a finger snap just now. It seemed to be an auditory illusion. Brat, good illusion. You can be proud that you can make me fall into an illusion. Sakamoto showed a look of appreciation. I wanted to say, is there no one in Woodleaf Village? They actually sent you 4 brats. But now it seems that your strength is not bad. You are qualified to die in my hands. Sakamoto put away his original face and a mocking expression appeared on his face. Akira Uchiha didn't say anything. The illusion was broken, and it didn't matter. He was just casually probing. Sure enough, no one who can become a jonin is simple. Akira Uchiha stared at Sakamoto, and then said, "Sakamoto, leave it to me. Shinakushina, Mikoto, Rope Tree, the remaining 3 genin will be left to you. Can you handle it?" The 3 of them nodded and locked onto one of them. Akira Uchiha tilted his head and signaled to Sakamoto. Sakamoto also had the intention to leave. The opponent's illusion was too terrifying. He could resist it, but his subordinates couldn't. When immortals fight, it will always affect the weak. It's better to leave. Akira Uchiha and Sakamoto's figure flashed and ran deeper into the forest. While running, Sakamoto pulled out a short knife from his back. The moment Sakamoto pulled out his dagger, his entire aura began to change. The sharp killing intent of the blade seemed to be able to tear someone's body apart in an instant. Sakamoto rushed over. Akira Uchiha didn't expect that Sakamoto, who looked gentle with his glasses, would have such an unrestrained fighting style. This was really powerful. Chi! The 2 bodies collided with each other. Akira Uchiha's kunai blocked Sakamoto's katana. However, Sakamoto's blade didn't weaken in the slightest. The moment the kunai blocked the short blade, it immediately split open a large hole. What a sharp knife! Sakamoto's blade dipped downwards, slashing towards Akira Uchiha's body. His whole body also dipped down along with the blade, kicking towards Akira Uchiha. Akira Uchiha suddenly raised his head. With a ping, the blade and the kunai collided several times. Then, the entire kunai was completely broken. Akira Uchiha kicked towards Sakamoto's chest. His empty left hand formed a seal in an instant. Fire release. Great fireball technique. Looking at the huge fireball coming towards him, Sakamoto slashed at the fireball, cutting it in half. Swish. However, behind the split fireball, there were several shurikens hidden. Under the cover of the fireball, they collided with each other, then turned into dazzling angles, rushing towards Sakamoto. Sakamoto slightly glanced to the side. Such a shuriken throwing technique. This black-haired young man was from the Uchiha clan. Bam! The kunai stabbed into the round wood. Sakamoto's figure disappeared into the air. The moment Sakamoto disappeared, Akira Uchiha did not hesitate at all. His body began to move at high speed. Body flicker technique. Then, a black light flashed. Akira Uchiha's body suddenly appeared on top of a big tree. He did not hesitate at all. The kunai in his hand directly slashed towards Sakamoto's head. Sakamoto, on the other hand, leaned back and dodged the fatal blow. His reaction speed was not weak at all. But the kunai still slashed through his hair. A strand of black hair fluttered in the air. The blade in Sakamoto's hand slashed towards Akira Uchiha 3 times in a row, but was blocked by the kunai. Then, the katana swung with all its might, and the katana's blade hit Chen squarely. Akira Uchiha was still in the same place. However, it looked as if the blade had hit something in the air. After image. Akira Uchiha kicked, and Sakamoto's body flew out from the big tree. Sakamoto's blade stabbed into a tree, stopping his body. The 2 of them stared at each other like this. "You're a sensory ninja?" Sakamoto pushed up his glasses. Just now, he used the substitution technique, and Akira Uchiha instantly sensed his location. Only a sensory ninja could do this. Sakamoto tried to get information from the other party. Of course, Akira Uchiha would not tell him that he had Dabai on him. As a spiritual contract, Dabai could use infrared to sense the other party's location and tell Akira Uchiha his location. Ninjas were like this, understanding each other in battle. Akira Uchiha was also happy to drag things out with the other party. The other party was not someone he could easily take down. Every jonin had their own trump cards. Even with his strongest physical skills, he could only gain a slight advantage in the probing just now. The air suddenly fell silent for a few seconds. Just when Akira Uchiha thought that this was the end of the standoff, Sakamoto seemed to have thought of something. That teleportation technique just now, you're the son of Uchiha Kagami. Sakamoto's voice carried a hint of surprise, but also excitement. Ha! Akira Uchiha was stunned. Is my name really that famous? He was already so low-key, but he was still F*King recognized. That's right, with this teleportation technique, you must be the son of Uchiha Kagami. Sakamoto suddenly became a bit nervous. Could it be that this person is a fan of my father's Uchiha Kagami? Akira Uchiha's thoughts were instantly twisted. He shook his dusty clothes. That's right, since you found out, I won't beat around the bush. Akira Uchiha was about to admit it, but Sakamoto stared at Akira Uchiha through the black-rimmed glasses. My sensei died in the hands of Uchiha Kagami in the last Shinobi World War. I heard that he died in the mission, but I didn't expect that he had a son. Sakamoto suddenly laughed, but his laughter was a bit scary. Well, enemy. How many people did his father kill? He didn't leave any property for himself, but left a lot of enemies. After recognizing Akira Uchiha, Sakamoto's right-hand katana directly slashed towards Akira Uchiha. His katana's speed was also ridiculously fast, beyond the range of ordinary ninja's reflexes. It seems that he didn't use his full strength just now. Facing this aggressive katana, Akira Uchiha snapped his fingers again, and Genjutsu immediately invaded Sakamoto's brain. Although Akira Uchiha's snap of his fingers can't kill half of the shinobi world, but it's enough to stop the other party's actions. Akira Uchiha's kunai directly attacked Sakamoto's chest. However, this time Sakamoto woke up much faster than before. Just when the kunai was about to be inserted into Sakamoto's chest, Sakamoto woke up. At this moment, the katana in his hand was blocking his chest, and the kunai couldn't go any further. Sakamoto stretched out his left hand, and a kunai appeared in his hand. The kunai cut Akira Uchiha's arm. Akira Uchiha felt pain. Sakamoto was surprised. Then, Akira Uchiha's fist hit Sakamoto's chest. The feeling that came from Sakamoto's body was not like a fist at all, but more like a heavy hammer. That strange force made him retreat, and his body was like a kite with a broken string, flying back more than 20 meters. Sakamoto couldn't catch his breath, and he spat out a big mouthful of blood. Akira Uchiha was waiting for this moment. He led the other party here because there was a trap here. Looking at Sakamoto's body falling to the ground, Akira Uchiha immediately made a hand seal. Then, the sound of the explosive seal tearing came. Suddenly, a huge explosion sounded in front of Akira Uchiha. The heat wave caused by the explosion blew Akira Uchiha's clothes and made a fluttering sound. Chapter 98. Looking at the explosion in front of him, Akira Uchiha sat down on the ground. His tense body couldn't hold on any longer. He suddenly felt a little dizzy in his head. He didn't know if it was the after effect of the battle with Jonin. Akira Uchiha stood up. He wanted to see if Sakamoto was blown to pieces by the explosive talisman. The smoke dispersed. On the ground, there was no scene of flesh and blood flying as Akira Uchiha expected. What remained on the ground were traces of the use of earth release. He saw pieces of broken walls piled up together. The earth wall was blown apart by the explosive talisman. A deathly pale hand suddenly stretched out from under the wall. Ha ha ha, bastard! I was almost killed by you. Sakamoto's voice came. Akira Uchiha's face sank. He recognized this ninjutsu, earth release, multiple earth flow walls. It seems that at the last moment, Sakamoto used earth release to block the explosion of the explosive talisman. As expected of a jonin. Sakamoto's hand pushed away a stone, and then his head was exposed. However, his hair had been burnt. The wind blew and turned into debris. Damn it! In the future, if anyone tells me that Woodleaf's genin is easy to beat, I will beat him until even his mother can't recognize him. Sakamoto sat on the ground. His hands and body were constantly tingling with pain. The burnt black skin and flesh emitted the smell of barbecue. These were all the places that were injured by the explosive talisman just now. His original yellow ninja clothes had also become tattered, and his body was covered in blood. Blood kept flowing out of his mouth and ears. Only the black-rimmed glasses were still intact and were not affected by the explosion at all. If he wasn't a ninja who specialized in earth release, if he didn't instantly form a seal at the last moment of life and death, then he would have died in the explosive talisman. This bastard! Akira Uchiha panted, and a kunai appeared in his hand. The distance was a little far, so illusions were not useful. The kunai still shot out from Akira Uchiha's hand. The kunai was like a cannonball, shooting directly at Sakamoto's head. The injured Sakamoto did not react in time. Everything was over. Akira Uchiha panted. However, the kunai that was aiming at Sakamoto's head flew past Sakamoto's ear. The sharp pain jolted Sakamoto awake. What's going on? Akira Uchiha shook his head. Why? This shouldn't be the case. Why couldn't he hit him? Akira Uchiha felt a sharp pain in his arm. He looked at his arm. His arm, which had been scratched by Sakamoto's kunai, was now purple. Kunai was actually poisonous. There's poison in your kunai? Akira Uchiha raised his head. Sakamoto covered his ears. That's right. I did it on purpose when you punched me. I purposely revealed a flaw and was careless. It was just a facade. It was just to scratch you. I just didn't expect that your punch would be so powerful, and then I fell into your trap. Who is Tsunade to you? My teacher, how is it? Are you afraid? Akira Uchiha laughed. Well, it's indeed scary. Uchiha's orphan, Tsunade's student. You, a genin, can actually fight with a jonin like me like this. You can be proud. I'm a little reluctant to kill you. Sakura Shinobu's poison is indeed not a rumor. Akira Uchiha felt the poison in his wound spreading. Now I have two pieces of good news for you. Which one do you want to hear? Sakamoto smiled. Akira Uchiha and Sakamoto were both talking nonsense. One was stalling for time, waiting for Tsunade's arrival. The other was replying to chakra. The earth release just now almost used up all of Sakamoto's chakra, and the injuries on his body also made him very painful. Most importantly, Sakamoto was waiting for the poison to erupt. The opposite brat was too strange, making him a little unsure of what trump card he had. I like to hear good news. Akira Uchiha patted the dust on his body. The good news is that this poison is a new one that has just been developed. It hasn't been completely developed yet. You're very lucky. Under this poison, you can still hold on for 40 minutes without dying. What's the bad news? The bad news is that until now, there is no antidote for this poison. And I can kill you in 10 minutes. Before his voice fell, Sakamoto's figure quickly approached Akira Uchiha. A short sword appeared in Sakamoto's hand, and he waved it towards Akira Uchiha's back. At the moment when the short sword came, Akira Uchiha's genjutsu covered his head. Sakamoto's footsteps stopped. For Sakamoto's words, Akira Uchiha couldn't believe all of them. Ninjas are deceiving others, and deceiving their own people. The most powerful ninja can even deceive himself. Judging from the purple color on his arm, it really wasn't a strong poison. In a short time, there won't be any problems, but if this kind of intense battle continues for a long time, not to mention 40 minutes, half an hour, or even 20 minutes, this slow poison will spread all over Akira Uchiha's body. In other words, Akira Uchiha must solve the genjutsu in front of him in 20 minutes to ensure his survival. And he can't have a fierce physical battle. Sakamoto, who broke the genjutsu, held the short sword and appeared behind Akira Uchiha. However, Akira Uchiha didn't move. Give up, kid? Sakamoto's short sword slashed Akira Uchiha's body. But Akira Uchiha turned into smoke. Shadow clone. Sakamoto was stunned. What's going on? The one who chatted with him for a long time was a shadow clone. After showing off, he wants to run? Chapter 99. Akira Uchiha sat alone on the branches of a big tree. At this time, the sun was about to set, and the last rays of light were still shining on his face. Akira Uchiha quickly chewed the soldier food pill in his mouth and recovered his chakra. He was in a very bad state now. There was less than a quarter of chakra in his body. In the seal scroll that was developed together with Watergate, there was more than twice the amount of chakra. When Akira Uchiha's kunai missed Sakamoto, he immediately began to run. Then, he used a shadow clone to stall for time. The memory of the shadow clone had just been transmitted back. Akira Uchiha already knew that he was poisoned. The original purple wound on his arm had now turned dark purple. In order not to spread the poison even more, he could only stop and rest while recovering his chakra. Sakamoto said that the poison would completely break out in 40 minutes. However, Akira Uchiha felt that if he fought, he would die in 20 minutes. And now, 5 minutes had passed. He had just contacted Orochimaru sensei. It turned out that Orochimaru had met Sakura Shinobu's other team. Orochimaru and Tsunade, who had taken care of that team, were rushing over. In other words, he had to hold on for another 10 minutes? So, there wasn't much time left for Akira Uchiha. Akira Uchiha touched his head. He only felt dizzy and began to let his imagination run wild. Just now, he mistook a branch for Shinakushina. What he was afraid of would appear in front of his eyes. Was it because of the poison, or the cause of death, that made Akira Uchiha have some hallucinations that he had never seen before? Akira Uchiha patted his head and forced himself to be alert. However, as time passed, the scene of Mikoto and the others being killed kept appearing in front of his eyes. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get rid of it. It was like an image. Dabai suddenly popped out and reminded Akira Uchiha. Is he here? Sakamoto, who wasn't a scout ninja, found him. It seemed that the poison could guide him. Sakura Shinobu's poison was really troublesome. A figure suddenly appeared in front of Akira Uchiha. So you're here. Sakamoto's voice sounded. Akira Uchiha looked up, but several Sakamoto appeared in front of him. Sakamoto was carrying something in his hand, but Chen couldn't see it clearly. He squinted to take a closer look. Then, the afterimages of Sakamoto's images gradually merged. Appeared in Akira Uchiha's eyes. Finally, he could see it. Instantly, a chill rose from under his feet. Akira Uchiha felt that he couldn't breathe. Sakamoto's hand was holding Mikoto's corpse. No. Impossible. This was impossible. Akira Uchiha felt like the world was spinning. This must be an illusion. That's right. It was an illusion. Akira Uchiha immediately disrupted his chakra flow. But, in front of him, there was no change. July was so warm. Akira Uchiha only felt an emptiness in his heart. That eerie chill was so clear. He kept telling himself that this was an illusion. But he knew. This wasn't. Akira Uchiha's heart was filled with extreme fear. You killed her, you killed her. Akira Uchiha was a little crazy as he kept saying. Oh, looks like the poison is acting up. Sakamoto smiled. Not bad. Back then, I also used this kind of gaze to watch your father kill my sensei. It's wonderful that you can taste this kind of pain. Every word Sakamoto said was like a knife cutting Akira Uchiha's heart. A drop of tear streaked across Akira Uchiha's cheek. What are you crying for? Why are you crying? Mikoto wasn't dead yet. Sakamoto, you bastard. In the end, Akira Uchiha despaired. Mikoto was dead. She had completely vanished from this world. This wasn't an illusion. It was nothing. This was hell. Suddenly, a patch of blood red appeared in Akira Uchiha's eyes. The two Tomo Sharingans spun crazily. Akira Uchiha could finally see Sakamoto clearly. A cold aura surrounded his body. This is the craziest Uchiha-chan has ever been. The craziest Uchiha-chan has ever been. He has lost his mind. Sakamoto stared at the eyes in the darkness with a cautious expression. Lightning Release Chidori. A large amount of chakra that has undergone a qualitative change to the extreme instantly gathered in Chen's hands. In a very short time, it reached the level of Chidori. Akira Uchiha, who was ready, stepped on the branches and jumped high. Relying on the force of his sprint, he dashed towards Sakamoto at high speed, leaving behind sparks and lightning. Sakamoto looked at Akira Uchiha rushing toward the sky and immediately made hand seals. Earth Release Multiple Earth Walls. Several walls stood between Akira Uchiha and Sakamoto. As an A-class ninjutsu, Chidori is still a very laborious task to break several walls under the multiple earth flow walls. But Chidori, because of Akira Uchiha's chakra, kept getting bigger and bigger, and the power was getting more and more amazing. There was a trend of Chidori turning into Raikiri. Under the piercing of Raikiri, Akira Uchiha directly drilled several holes in the earth wall. "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you." Akira Uchiha didn't stop at all. While Chidori was still in his hand, he fiercely stepped on the earth wall. Then, he charged straight at Sakamoto, who was on the ground. Die. Chapter 100. In the night, Akira Uchiha drew a dazzling light and quickly pierced through. Sakamoto showed a dignified look. Looking at Akira Uchiha's appearance, he was only about 10 years old. If someone told him before that a 10-year-old kid can entangle with a jonin for so long, he would definitely give that person a slap in the face. But now he encountered it. Plus, the awakened Sharingan is Twin Tomo. This brat's talent made him unable to help but feel fearful. Originally, Sakamoto wanted to kill him before the poison broke out. But now he just wants to leave and wait for the poison to break out. Yes. He was a little scared. The blood-red Tomo rotated quickly and stared straight at Sakamoto, making him a little scared. Facing a wood-leaf genin, he was a jonin, but at the last moment, he was a little scared. What a disgrace. If word got out, not only would people laugh their heads off, but even he hated such a thought. Damn it! Sakamoto knew that he can't retreat. He retreated a safe distance and at the same time made hand seals. Earth Release. Rock piercing. A huge vibration quickly came from the ground. The originally flat forest quickly split into countless pieces. As the ground continued to fall, the whole earth's crust rose up like waves, and then squeezed towards Uchiha. A class Earth Release. If Akira Uchiha's consciousness was still clear, he would definitely avoid this ninjutsu. After all, that was his fighting style. But unfortunately, the outbreak of the poison made his consciousness gradually weakened. The only thing he could remember now was to kill the sand jonin in front of him. The ground began to collapse crazily, and the stones were squeezing toward Akira Uchiha. After releasing this ninjutsu, Sakamoto consumed a lot of chakra. Spikes were constantly coming out, and every time Akira Uchiha took a step, countless spikes would grow out. At this time, there were 10 minutes before the full outbreak of the poison. Akira Uchiha's space to move was getting smaller and smaller. Not only under his feet, behind him, above his head, even in front of him began to be gradually covered with stone spikes. Under the control of Sakamoto's ninjutsu, the ground was like a giant beast, trying to swallow Akira Uchiha. Blood began to flow out of Akira Uchiha's body. Just as the Earth Release was about to bury Akira Uchiha, the sound of thousands of birds chirping came from the ground again. At the last moment, Akira Uchiha crazily squeezed the last chakra out of his body. Together with the chakra sealed in the scroll, it was released. Like the brightest star in the sky, Chidori instantly burst out with light, illuminating the entire darkness. A lot of chakra, and chakra, chakra, and chakra. And chakra. In Sakamoto's incredulous eyes, the stone spikes harder than steel were easily cut off. In an instant, Akira Uchiha's body was quickly stretched to a critical point. Looking at Akira Uchiha, who was sprinting in a single line, Sakamoto's veins on his arms bulged. However, his footsteps stopped abruptly. His face turned ashen. His body can't move. When was this genjutsu? The harder Sakamoto tried, the more he couldn't move his feet. This strange state reminded him of a high-level genjutsu, Golden Bind Genjutsu. Is the current wood leaf genjutsu already in existence that can use Golden Bind Genjutsu? This idea was rejected by him as soon as it appeared. Impossible, where did Akira Uchiha get so much chakra? Then Sakamoto found that his body seemed to be able to move a little. After a little thought, he understood. As an A-level genjutsu, Golden Bind Genjutsu, if he didn't get hit by it, he wouldn't be frozen for such a short time. It seems that this is the superimposed application of Akira Uchiha's Sharingan and his conventional genjutsu. He had just awakened his Sharingan, but he was already able to use it. This kind of talent terrified Sakamoto. In the next moment, Akira Uchiha took Chidori and cut towards Sakamoto's head. But now, move for me. Hurry up. Sakamoto looked at Raitan that was getting closer and closer, and his face showed a ferocious expression. Everyone is racing against time. His body was moving a little bit, and the effect of genjutsu was further weakened. And Akira Uchiha didn't notice this. Looking carefully, you can almost find that Akira Uchiha's originally cold eyes now seem to be blurred. This is a sign that the poison has spread too deep. Before Akira Uchiha's Chidori was about to hit Sakamoto's head, Sakamoto finally completely got rid of the Sharingan Genjutsu. In a hurry, he didn't have time to think. He waved his hand and blocked in front of his head with the short sword in his hand. However, the dagger, which could easily split Huton and kunai, was like a piece of paper to him. Under Chidori's cut, the short sword was instantly split in half. In the next moment, Chidori went towards Sakamoto's head. Then, blood splattered. The smell of blood directly poured into Akira Uchiha's nose. Akira Uchiha thought that he had cut off Sakamoto's head. But Akira Uchiha, who raised his head, found that Sakamoto's head was still there. It turned out that the block of the short sword made Chidori's direction move a little bit. Lightning release only brushed past half of his face. Blood dripped down drop by drop, and the weak Chidori finally dissipated. Akira Uchiha's Sharingan also couldn't be maintained because of chakra. Akira Uchiha's somewhat unfocused vision could see that Sakamoto's head was already a little dark. If it was an ordinary Jonin or elite Jonin, their body would have been attacked like this, and they would have definitely died. However, Akira Uchiha's chakra was insufficient, which made Chidori's power greatly weakened. With this kind of injury, Sakamoto was still at death's door. However, he was completely hopeless. At this time, only a minute had passed. In the end, I won. Akira Uchiha dropped his weak hand. A hoarse voice came out of his mouth. He, you haven't won yet. Sakamoto stared at Akira Uchiha with his remaining eye. Accompany me to hell. Sakamoto smiled at Akira Uchiha. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.